Okay.
I'm into that.
Okay.
New middle name just dropped.
What is your middle name?
Do I want to disclose that?
You don't have to.
It's Elizabeth. It's fine.
That's my mom's name.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
Karen's a good name too.
Moongerm. Where'd that come from?
It was 2010 or 11, and Instagram had just been made, and I was trying to come up with something that involved my last name and
Oh, yeah.
like
I
a
figured.
hybrid mashup, and I was like, oh, this one's available. And
So you were an early adopter of Instagram?
I guess, when did it come out? Do you remember? It's like
I think
2009?
2010.
2010?
That seems about right.
I remember I was working at Whole Foods when I made my account. I was working at the coffee bar and on my phone, and I wasn't supposed to be. And I was like being encouraged by my coworkers, and I did it.
Which Whole Foods, where was it at?
Northbrook.
Northbrook. Okay.
My mom worked there too. It was a great time.
You worked with your mom at the same time?
I did.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was honestly the best. I can't recommend it enough.
Really? That seems unlikely to not that that's best, but that you would find a job where you're working with your parent.
Yeah, she had been working there for God, I don't even know. Since I was in middle school at least.
Oh, wow.
And then college, I needed a job so I could pay for school, and they were hiring. And I remember in my interview, I didn't even mention that my mom worked at that store because I didn't want them to think I was trying to Nepo baby my way in.
By the way, Jeff Bezos, we have a Nepo baby here.
Yeah, I'm a Whole Foods Nepo baby.
That was pre-Amazon.
It was, yeah. It was back when
it was better.
When things were good.
Mm-hmm.
It was honestly probably the best job I've ever had at the time.
Wow.
Okay. Really cool boss, Noelle, shout out if you're listening. Yeah, just really chill, super fair boss, very honest. I was setting up displays of cheese every day and drinking free coffee.
Oh.
I mean, how?
And you were 18, 19?
Yes.
That's
it was
not
the
bad.
best, yeah.
Was it close to home? Did you drive, bike, walk?
I was living in Rogers Park, so it was half-hour drive. Wasn't bad.
Did you live in Rogers Park in high school?
No, I was in college at that point.
Oh, okay. Where at Rogers Park? What area? Which streets?
It was on Kenmore and Granville. So actually, I don't know.
That sounds like Edgewater.
That might be Edgewater.
It's close.
Sorry.
Enough. They're all the same.
Oh, God.
It's the north side
North
that
side.
is very different from the south side. And that's all you got to know.
Where we are now, the
Yeah.
deep south side.
We're mid-south.
I know. This is the nice, cute south side.
The Bridgeport, people think this is Armour Square Park because it's so east of the Bridgeport area, because we're just at the very tip of Bridgeport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a little different from the west part. I don't know.
I was not ever good at geography. I don't know.
Yeah, I am and was, and I've discovered most people aren't. So I always either sound like I'm speaking gibberish, or I sound a little arrogant because I'm very particular with directions and feet, telling time when sailing, longitude, latitude, longitude, latitude, all that. But
using the stars to
yeah,
navigate.
I got into it
the
because I was
sun.
what if this doesn't work one day?
For real.
Which could happen.
A friend of mine was in a situation where her and her partner's phone stopped working, and they were out driving around. They couldn't look up maps, and they didn't have an atlas, right? Is that what they're called? Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. It's been a minute.
Those are the best ways to road trip, though. Did you use one as a kid, your parents?
Yes.
They're awesome.
And
You're getting over
MapQuest.
a fight over it, pre-MapQuest. Think late 90s, going on a road
Yeah,
trip.
I mean, a laminated, foldy outy, complicated
tricky.
puzzle.
Yeah.
Puzzle of a laminated piece of paper full of blue lines and little names.
But it's actually a lot more easy than you would think. The internet, the social medias have overcomplicated directions. I always simplify it. I don't know how we're talking about this right now, but
Maps.
for those who we're driving pre the internet, which was everyone between, 19, we'll call it 1910 and 2000. So 90 years.
2000.
I was going to say 99. So 90 years of
Okay.
like no looking up, no Googling things for maps. It might have been longer, but we'll call it that. Do you think everyone was just like guessing or struggling here? No, there's actually a method to the system of the streets. It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
The interstates, the numbers, odd ones go north and south, even ones go east and west.
Well,
And they start in one corner of the country and they go across. So if you know that if someone's saying a high number, they're talking about west. If they're talking about a low number, they're talking about east. Like
that makes sense.
if you look at
because
Lakeshore Drive, it's 41.
Mhm.
And then you look at LaGrange, it's 45. And if you look, like if you see these numbers, it turns LaGrange to Mannheim if you go further north. Harlem is 43. And look at 41, 44, or 43, 45.
How high
and they
does it
go
go?
from west to east that way. What's up?
What's the highest number?
I don't know the highest number out would be in California. I don't know what it is in California. And then same thing goes from north. And that's the old highway system from 1926. The interstate, like 9094, 55, that one was built in the 50s and 60s by Eisenhower. And that one follows something similar. So like I-55 goes north and south. 57 goes north and south. 65, north and south. 75 if you wanted to go all the way down to Florida. North and south. 85. 95 if you're going from Boston through New York, that's 95. Again, even odd numbers going north and south, and the numbers go up by 10. All the way to where you go to California, and it goes all the way down to 5. If you go to the south, if you ever took 10 from like Florida, Tallahassee, all the way across through Texas, or 20 through Tennessee, or 40, or if you come up by us, 80, 90, which go across. Do you see how it's going up
How
the
the
staircase?
heck do you know this?
I just
What the hell?
I didn't do.
Did you ever make these drives? A lot of road tripping?
I've driven
Okay.
like all of these, but I've studied them too, and drove them.
Cartographer.
Yeah, geography.
There you
cartography.
go. That's a career.
Yeah, it's I used to play these games in college when everyone else wanted to go out like drinking and partying. I made my friends play like geography games
Oh my God.
on like my big projector and the old
Nightmare.
DZ records. Yeah,
That's a nightmare for me.
I think some of them hated it, and I think some of them loved it. But I'm like, they stuck around, so clearly they enjoyed it. But it was fun. There was this one game, they'd drop you in the middle of nowhere in the whole world, and you had to use context clues to figure out where you were based on the sign, the language, things like that. It was
Oh my God.
kinda fun.
Oh man, I'm so curious how I would do. Oh my God. I don't know. I feel pretty like my scope of that stuff is pretty narrow. I've only lived in the US.
But you've been around.
I mean,
Have you road tripped?
I have mostly as a child from Illinois to Florida and back over and
Grandparents
over.
or something?
An aunt, yeah, aunt and uncle, and up to Minnesota. And then I one time,
What was it, Minnesota family?
yeah, more family, just kind of scooting around, visiting family. But one time, I don't know why I was allowed to do this, but one of my friends was going to college in California, and I helped drive her there. And we lived somehow. There was a time in the desert, I was driving, and I kept almost falling asleep at the wheel. But I was like, it's fine. Like, we're in the desert. There's nothing to hit. Like, who cares? Yeah, and like
That's a terrible way to look at it. You can still flip a car.
I know. It was like I would start like veering a little bit and then it would wake me up. And I'm like, well, I keep waking up. Like, who cares? It's just such a 20-year-old thing to be like, oh, yeah, like this is fine. Like, whatever. I'm just limping along, like, might crash the car. It's fine.
Isn't it funny what you accept as a youngster versus now, and what we accept now that we won't in 10 years? It's
Yeah.
interesting to think about.
We just get more and more crotchety with age.
Crotchety. You think so? Have you gotten more grumpy with age?
Grumpy. No,
Pessimistic?
pessimistic.
Concerned?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was a point in my mid-20s where, like, the status of the world hit me all at one time and everything was horrible. And that's like when anxiety became a thing. And like,
For you or
yes, for
okay.
me. And it just was like, is this what it's like to just be sentient and aware of things? This is horrible. Like, how do I go back? And then, you know,
Sorry to laugh. This is
time.
terrible.
I mean, did you not experience
Yeah,
that?
of course. It was
Like
terrible. I
that,
did.
that like
Wait,
mid 20s.
It was between like 19 and 25 for me
Yeah. Yes.
about that time.
24 was like the last good year for me. And then like
Oh my
after,
goodness.
well,
You haven't had a good year since?
no, it's all been
You're
ass.
32,
No,
right?
almost.
You're going to be 32 like
Don't
in a couple
drop
days.
this stuff on internet.
Right? Like
Yeah.
3 days? 4 days?
Thursday. Wait, Friday? The 22nd. Yeah.
22nd. Wow. Just before the winters or
Yeah.
summer, fall equinox. There you go.
Correct.
Sometimes it is on your birthday.
I think it usually is.
Yeah, not this year. Sorry.
Man, whatever. I'm going to pretend. I'm bringing in autumn with my birth every year. That's just how I go about it. That's
It's
fine.
not the worst time for a birthday.
No.
Like, you definitely weren't having pool parties growing up, but you easily could have had outdoor hangs and bonfires and, like, stuff like that. You know,
Definitely.
it's never that cold at this time of year.
No. I mean, it's actually like I had the windows open in my apartment and I was like, it's kind of a lot colder than I expect it to be this time of year.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 80s the next couple days, though. Pretty warm.
Okay.
It's been.
We're out of the weird cold snap. The cold snap, it's like 65.
See, as you can tell, I looked like I was going to the beach today, as I do every day. I run so warm. My body's always hot, so I don't know. Like this 60s and stuff, I love it. I'm still dressed like it's summer.
I
but
prefer it as well. I don't enjoy the heat. I feel like I was not built for it. My body wants to lay on the ground. I want to be horizontal. Like it's you step outside and you're hit with that heat, and it's like all my systems are like freaking out, heart rate elevated, blood pressure elevated.
What's like your threshold? Like, do you not like anything over 90, 85? If you could pick.
Anything over like 70 is
Wait, really?
garbage.
It hit 70 today. You're
Garbage.
wearing long sleeve
Garbage.
pants.
Just because I'm cold doesn't mean
So you don't. So you rather you prefer to wear like long sleeve and pants.
yeah. I much
Oh,
prefer
okay.
that. That's comfy for
You don't
me.
like that freeness of like shorts and a t-shirt, where you're just like your body and skin
if
is
it's
breathing.
if it's that magical summer temperature where it's warm enough to wear shorts and a t-shirt, and the wind blows and you're not cold a little bit. That happens to me. Where it's like magical, there's no breeze, you're not sweating just standing there. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's good. That's kind of nice. That's good. That's like, okay, this is what summer's all about. And then, you know, it becomes Chicago again and it's impossible to live outside.
Mm-hmm.
Can't step out of the shade for a second without, being sunburned immediately. That's me anyway.
Right. You clearly have. It seems like some type of Scandinavian blood. So
I did a DNA test.
I'm gonna go on a whim.
It was the least surprising
I guess.
outcome. Go for it.
Well, you said Minnesota. A lot of people from Minnesota. Are they from Minnesota?
Yes.
A lot of people from that area are Norwegian and Swedish. It's where a lot of Scandinavian people went. It's a very similar climate. So I'm going to go on a whim and say something Scandinavian, at least half. I don't know. Could be wrong. And then some type of Northwestern Europe. I mean, probably Dutch or English or Irish. Maybe German. I don't know. What is it?
That's like most white people. A salad of European countries.
But it could be a lot of Southern or Eastern, too.
True.
I didn't mention those.
You're right. Apparently, I'm like 40% Irish,
Okay.
all from my dad, because it like breaks it down.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
It is.
Yeah, my dad, I only got Irish and I think like the teeniest bit of Finnish from him, like a sliver. And then from my mom, it was like I mean, I could pull it up. I don't remember. She was more of like a mixed bag of what you kind of said.
Just like broadly Northwestern European.
Yeah, pretty much like Swedish, Finnish. I think there was some English in there, Irish, you know.
So like when people ask you if you were to like kind of generalize them, what would you say? Would you say like half Irish and then like
Yeah, pretty much. Just like I am what it looks like for the most part.
mm-hmm.
So whatever you're thinking, you're probably right.
But that's not true for everyone. See, with you, I because of your hair and skin complexion, I would have said definitely something Scandinavian. But
I mean, yeah, that was in there.
mm-hmm.
A little bit Norwegian, but it was mostly, yeah, strong dad gene in there.
And Irish isn't too far from that anyway.
No. And like, who knows how, like, where they were before that? You don't know.
They were from that area. Yeah, they went over
it's
there.
It's a mix.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever.
Yes.
Where are you from? What's your heritage?
So far, this podcast has been geography, weather, and our ethnicities that we're just not talking about.
Just so everyone's clear, here's what our ethnicities are. White.
Oh, okay. So
Maps.
I did a 23andMe too. I did a 23andMe as well. And I'm half Mexican, which I already knew. My dad is Mexican. But within his Mexican, it's interesting to see what percentage Native American.
Yeah.
So I'm like 15% Native American through that. And then 25% Spanish, which brings me to about 40%. Yeah. And then that other half, the remaining is some Portuguese and a little bit of trace stuff, African and whatnot. And then on my mom's side, it's like 20% English. And then there's this chunk that's 20% divided into two, which is like 12% Polish and 8% Ashkenazi Jew, which is the same spot. So that's
such a cool blend. That's way cooler than mine.
The extra. So and then the remaining 10% is broadly European. It's just a mixture of small stuff that just a little bit over time.
Man, cool.
So if someone were to ask, I would say mostly, I'd say I'm half Mexican, then like a quarter English, a quarter Polish. If I had to like simplify it. There's a little bit more than that, but like that's just to simplify it. Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. On the Caucasian side of the family, they were very much wrong. They thought they were German, but because my great grandfather changed his name when he came here because he was Jewish, which makes sense. And who would have thought he chose German last name, which really helps your case of being persecuted. Yeah, if you're German,
I'm definitely not Jewish. I'm German.
Yeah. I'm German. So, yeah. But how did you get started making these things? Let's just go right into it because we completely have not been talking about
We've avoided it.
Your art. You're an artist with many talents.
Thanks.
And you do all kinds of things, but you obviously play music. That's how I met you, through your old band, Pylons, 4 years ago, like right now. And you also do a lot of you tell everyone what you do.
Okay. Well, I've been drawing my whole life. As I don't know. I feel so silly talking about this stuff, which is why it took me so long to.
We won't talk about it long. We'll go on to other subjects.
Okay.
We just gotta talk.
Well,
we have to acknowledge it.
I'm an artist, and I started drawing as a child. I had an affinity for it at a young age. Both of my grandmothers were artists, and I think because of that, my parents were very encouraging and supportive, which is really cool. I know a lot of people don't have parents like that, but so my entire life I was just encouraged to do art, and most of my birthdays and Christmases, it was like those plastic briefcases for children that are full of like crayons and those like really crappy watercolor paints that are just like coasters, like little bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it all started. And my entire life I was just like, well, I'm going to be an artist. My entire life. It just like, I never thought of being anything else.
Really?
So yeah, like pretty much. I mean, that's kind of a lie. One of,
I like the way you said that.
well,
Keep talking. I'm just gonna turn these colors.
make it fun.
Will it reach?
Little rainbow.
Reach.
But yeah, so I guess I don't know what came first, my love for art or my love for animals. But yeah, for a while there in second grade, I was very conflicted about what I was going to do with my life. There was a lady that came in with coyotes and raccoons and stuff, and she was like an animal rehabilitator. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I just want to have a bunch of pets in my backyard and hang out with animals all day. And I remember distinctly thinking like, ah, dang it, I can't because I have to be an artist. Got to. It's in the stars. Got to do it. So yeah.
So
now
at second grade, you learned like I'm not gonna do the animal thing.
That was, yeah, I don't know. It was like a thought that I had and a decision all at once at 8 years old. I was like, that would be so cool. Ah, crap. Nah, can't.
Can't do
It's
it.
destiny. I got to make art. So here we are.
And what kind of art was calling to you? Like, what were you feeling?
As a kid, I made a lot of comics. It's probably like pretty common for kids to get a start doing that. But as a kid, I thought I would do more like children's book illustration. We had to do these, they were called young author books, where we got these little fake, I guess they weren't fake, but they were blank hardcover books that you could like draw on the cover, and all the pages were blank, and you were supposed to fill it with your story, like a story that you wrote. And I took a few of those blank books. I wasn't supposed to, but they were just chilling there. And so I took a few home and I made a bunch as a child. So yeah, I don't know. I always wanted to illustrate books as a kid. And then getting older, college, just meeting other artists and musicians and people like that, music is a huge part of my life. Very important to me. Kind of always just made sense, like do art for bands, kind of find a way to make it a healthy, symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. And that was, you went to Columbia, right?
Yes, I did.
I don't know how I know that.
You went to Columbia, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I was going to ask if you teach there.
I do.
Okay. That's
I just
cool.
started there, yeah.
Well, congrats.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm teaching the exact classes I took, and it's like giving the same assignments I did. It's very strange.
That is bizarre.
My first day there, they printed out my ID, my faculty ID, and it was with my photo from when I went there years ago. And I was like, this is not my updated
Like as a
photo.
child, like a
when I was 21,
teen?
yeah.
Holy
21,
hell.
20
All
years
right.
old or something, because I transferred there. And I was laughing. Part of me wanted to keep it. I'm all about making light of serious situations, like a professional situation. Then I realized I probably should be very professional in this and not have my photo be mine when I was 21.
Yeah. That's tricky.
Part of me has to know when to not do the joking stuff, because I'm always trying to have fun. Life's hard.
Life's hard. Make it fun,
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously, kids. Like, yeah, see, already.
Do you take it seriously?
I try not to. It's very hard. Everything is telling you to take it seriously all the time. And things are very serious all the
Isn't
time.
it really serious?
And it's like, do I have to? Like, what if I just don't do my taxes? Like, will I really go to jail? I mean, that would be kind of funny. I'm like, what if I went to jail?
I don't think you would. I don't think it works like that at like that level that you're talking about.
I know. It would probably just wreck my credit
No,
score.
I think that they would just reach out to you and you'd like press you to like fix it and stuff.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
but if
they'll
I
fine
didn't-
you. I think it'd be more fines.
And then I don't pay them, and then I go to jail.
Maybe
I would end up in jail. That's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like you would not fare well in jail.
Who's to say?
You don't seem that.
I don't seem jaily.
You don't. I'm just gonna
I could
say this. You
hang.
don't seem very tough, and I mean that in a good way. You don't want to be because that means you've been through a lot, and there's no need. Why do you want to be that tough?
Well,
I'd say it to anybody who just didn't feel very tough. But I also could be wrong. It's just based off my experiences meeting
tough.
a strange amount of people. You don't seem quite tough.
Yeah, I guess tough isn't how I would describe myself. I could be tough.
You could be tough.
The thing, like, you know, I didn't have
Did
like.
this take you back? Me saying that? You're like, don't know. You're like, wait a minute. I thought I was tough.
No, I just was like, I don't know. It's just weird, like the things you go through as a child and, you know, the hardships you face or whatever, how it molds you differently. You know, like some of the people I know that I grew up with in kind of similar situations are much more tough than me. But we also like handle things differently. Like they're much more confrontational or like very firm in their boundaries. Whereas I'm like, I have the opposite problem where I'm just like, let's, like, I can.
I love how you made fun of yourself with a voice that you probably don't use.
I know. Like you know, it's fine. It's fine. This is how I view myself. We're learning a lot today. We're all learning a lot right now.
You seem so like sad about realizing like what we were learning about. You're like, it's fine.
It's, you know, it's
I feel like you have a lot to say and you're just trying to find the right words to say it.
definitely yeah, being like passive or apologetic or just kind of going with the flow of bad vibes or bad people has gotten me into trouble a few times. And
Like with the law or
with the law, yes. I mean, not anything seriously. And it was kind of my own fault.
like
But
trespassing or something?
yeah, something dumb.
Same.
And honestly, like that was just me being bored in the suburbs,
Same. Stupid stuff.
shoplifting.
Dumb stuff.
That was my.
So you've been arrested?
I was mall arrested, and some. Yeah, I've been arrested.
Were you ever handcuffed and booked and like fingerprinted and photographed?
No, but I was escorted into a secret room behind the mall and scolded, and they wouldn't let me go unless I paid a fine.
How much was the fine?
It was like $70.
How old were you?
Shit. Did I just turn 18? I think I was either about to turn 18 and I was like, whew, I skated by. Like I almost was about to go to jail. Yeah, 17 or 18.
Because if you were under 18, they would have made you call your parents, I think.
They were just, yeah, maybe I was 18 then.
Let's get real. Nothing was going to happen to you, Karen.
Yeah, it's fine. It was funny because I was with a couple friends. It wasn't my fault that I got caught, okay? I was very good at shoplifting and
What would you take?
whatever. It
Like
wasn't
just
even
clothes or something? Like little things?
like, yeah, mostly. I don't like being told what to do, okay?
You should stop.
I don't
that.
like authority. Yeah, right? Karen, you should stop.
It's a good joke. I don't like being told what to do. You should stop thinking like that.
Oh, okay, right. You're right. I will stop.
Really? You don't? So you don't like being told what to do. You don't like authority. You just rebel. No wonder you play
It's just
some punk rock music.
It's just quiet. It's just inside. I'm just quietly not okay with anything ever. That's dramatic.
No.
I gotta go. Sorry. That's dramatic.
There's some sincerity there.
Yeah, things are bad. And that's why I never felt bad for shoplifting from like a mall. I would never steal from like,
DZ Records.
yeah, no, never. I never got a.
I've seen you. You keep looking at everything. You're eyeing it like that looks. I'm
there's-
gonna take this little.
This is a
frog.
bad environment to be if you are a visual person and easily
Why, are
distracted.
there things around?
There's just a lot of things. Yeah. You need to do a house tour. You should include that in the
I should. You didn't even see the rest of the house. There's even more stuff.
No.
Like every part of this house, just like my old house, is covered with like my room is just as packed with things. Like there's no and there's more stuff under beds. My closets are maxed out. I have stuff at people's houses. These walls are maxed out. There's no more room left. I mean, I had a straight up circus worth of things, So, but yeah, this is quite a distracting space, I guess.
I mean, it's awesome, but yeah, there's just a lot to look at. It's less crazy than the last basement, but
Yeah, the last one you couldn't see wall.
no.
You saw objects and art.
You could see through the objects to more objects.
It was more like dust. It was very hard to dust.
It was like an antique store.
It was. There was tons of antique stuff. I used to just collect antique stuff, so it was like everywhere and
just packed. It was cool. I mean,
thank you.
This is very cool. There's lots more space.
There's more
I bet
space.
it's gonna fill up with stuff.
I'm working on getting it more filled up. I'm working on getting a mural made on that back wall, and I'm gonna get rid of that stuff and open up the session space to where it's the whole basement of the sessions.
Shit. That's a lot of stuff to get rid of, Ben.
I know.
You gotta have a garage sale or a yard sale.
I don't have a garage or a yard anymore. I used to have a dope garage and yard, if you don't remember. It was so nice. There was a festival there.
Did someone move in?
Yeah, someone we don't know bought it. Yeah,
Okay.
but luckily they were nice and they let me check it out. And they remodeled it and it freaked me out. It's so weird looking. I mean, it's nice. It's just bizarre because my hands were so involved with that space from 1997 until I left there for like 25 years. I was the one fixing, remodeling, taking care of everything.
That's insane.
Like I did all of it myself. So when someone else did it, I was like, "You painted over my work." That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It was weird, they was cool to see they have kids, and they were running around in the yard where there was once a festival. He had plenty of questions about this place. He had no idea what happened there. My goal was hopefully to have this documentary done and hopefully on a streaming service, and him and his wife one night, without them knowing what happened, just somehow see it, and they put it on, and they're like, "Wait a minute, that's our house."
Babe, is that the house?
Well, that's our house. And,
what the heck?
He was very confused. The patches of grass where stages once were for a decade. It was great. I loved blowing his mind, telling him what happened there. And he uses my cabin behind the DZ for his children for school, which I thought was awesome. And I built that, so it's like a schoolhouse now. And they have a
Wow.
fireplace and a trampoline and a swing set, and a garden, all in the places I had them my whole life as a kid, which really was crazy to see. So it felt like I went back in time, and it was pretty emotional.
That's amazing.
It was, yeah.
That's cool that they have kids to so they can grow
I
up
had kids running
in that
around. I was
space.
like, this is a great kids' yard. It was a private park that I did whatever I wanted until I left. Literally, never.
You had siblings. You have siblings,
I,
right?
I had and have siblings.
Nice.
Yeah, 2. A sister
Cool.
and brother, both older. Yeah, so lots of cousins, lots of family members, lots of friends, big open door policy that never really went away. I took that and held on to it and expanded on it.
Definitely get that vibe. It's like
Yeah.
anytime I've been to that house, it's like you don't know who's there.
Yeah, just
it's
come
always
on in.
just homies and like family and pets and
Yes, there was a lot of people there all the time, and I miss some of that because I was never alone. I always had laughter, things to do, goofy stuff. We had a dry erase board in the kitchen, and whenever someone had like a debate or a confrontation, we'd all go to there and like we'd say, "Take it to the board," and it was like our democratic place to like figure out
that's so funny.
what people thought of like, okay, pizza versus deep dish versus lasagna. What's the difference between deep dish is just pizza, lasagna? We'd take polls, like dumb stuff you do like that when you're with a bunch of people.
That's important.
It was great during
Those are
COVID.
important things to figure out.
COVID was a walk in the park living there because I had like 5 roommates and a dog, and I was always with people. I was living with my band. We just practiced all the time.
Yeah,
It was awesome. I was
Yeah, you were
"This
like-
isn't that bad."
This is great. This is like when Metallica like
We need to-
rented that cabin and like just spent 30 days recording or whatever. Luxury.
Yeah, it was so luxurious.
That's awesome.
It was all free. No, I'm kidding. I wish it was. No, none of it was. But I miss the space. It was great space. But trying to do more and grow and I needed a change in my life. I did that for 32 years, and I
Yeah.
knew nothing else, and no one knew anything else. But I'm glad that it created something big enough that just kind of lives on in its own way, and I just now have to steer it.
Yeah, geez, you're the captain of the ship.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to go down with that
Y-
ship.
Has it sunk yet?
No.
If you had to
It
patch
can't
any
sink
holes?
now. It's Oh my goodness! It's like you know how many icebergs have hit?
So many.
Whew.
Well,
So many. I don't think it could sink now. I think it's unsinkable.
when they said that about another special ship, they were proven wrong.
But
No, I'm kidding.
I guess.
Nah, DZ's gonna live on forever.
Thanks. I'm trying to think what could sink it. What could sink it? I don't know. Anything I would think of out loud sounds too terrible, so I'm not going to say it. So
Like-
never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe if you somehow got sued but I don't know what for. Like you're not allowed to have fest in your
So
fest
all
name.
the things that I could have been sued for or tried getting sued for, I already got past those things. Like the fest in my backyard. It's over with.
Yeah,
It
whatever.
already happened, so can't sue me
And
now.
the cops were on your side.
They were. It took a long time. The city on my side. The last bonfire I had there, we were burning the old DZ cabin that it was named after,
That's insane.
the namesake. I was
A
taking
barn
it apart.
burner.
I was taking it down and burning it, which I guess some petroleum products were getting burned, so that's illegal. So I guess that's a crime. But, whatever. Can't prove it now. And the
Crimes.
fire department came for the first time ever. All the chaotic stuff I did, thousands of bonfires, crazy stuff, festivals, shows, parties, events. I mean, more than anybody I've ever heard ever having. They showed up, and I knew them. And one of the people, the lieutenant, was my brother's friend. And he was just like, oh, tell your parents I said hi and, like, keep the fire down. Like, that's it.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, I'm like, I can't be stopped at this place. I just did whatever.
I'm invincible.
But here, I have to start over. I'm in
Yeah.
Chicago now. I don't know those people. So it's starting over is a little hard.
Were you in Cook County?
I was in Cook County.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was so far out there that it's just different worlds.
Yeah.
Different mayor, different aldermen, different city attorneys, and, way more people to take in consideration, way more different kinds of people, different demographics, different lifestyle in the city.
Yeah.
But, I got really lucky. My neighbors are awesome. The space is great. I didn't have to change anything.
Yeah.
Like, I recorded at my house like I
That's
used to.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried moving to this city. I was like, I might get a spot where I can't record. Like, that's
Yeah.
totally easy to get a spot you can't record.
Yeah. And you wouldn't really know until, like, you try.
I know. I got lucky. We found this spot. My roommate and I, like, let's just get it because I think I could pull off recording that basement. Like, I could be really crafty with soundproofing and communication and stuff, and it worked.
I
No
mean,
issues.
the foam padding
The
is
foam padding
next
a
level.
lot more soundproofing than people realize. Like, that's a window that's blocked completely with like 8 inches of foam behind that foam. There's another window over there I blocked, and then I blocked that whole back wall with foam behind that stuff. And then I just do the sessions during the week, during the day.
Yeah,
So,
whatever.
it's
You
fine.
got this.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But on that subject matter, let's also talk about how you made a DSC Fest poster.
Let's discuss.
The best one.
No.
So many
I
people
hope
loved
so.
that. A lot of people complimented it, saying it was the best one.
It's because there's a dog on it. Do any of the other ones have Bo?
Bo was right there on the sidewalk.
Okay.
But
Well,
yours is much more information of Bo. That's
honestly,
kind of bland.
the year prior to mine, 2021, I
pretty
do
cool.
love that one
one's
a
pretty
lot.
cool. You sold art at that one,
I did. Yeah, I've had
but you didn't play.
no, but I have had the honor of selling art at DZ Fest. I guess technically 3 times because I sold 2 days.
Oh, okay. But you
Yeah.
didn't do 19. I didn't know you yet for any of
Not
those.
quite yet,
No.
but yeah,
Look at that.
that was a blast. I so my first draft of the poster was like knights. I was very
remember
much
that.
in like medieval knights for the people listening. I was very much thinking like Monty Python.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was just like the mood I was in. I was like, I want to draw some knights and like flowers and make it kind of like retro, but like not, like groovy, we were very careful about that. No groovy 70s tie-dye.
I just got we did that. I never chose to do that. Everyone
Yeah.
kept doing that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But for the longest time, people kept calling it like, oh, it's like Woodstock. This. I'm like, yeah, except I don't do drugs, and I actually like buy this stuff and have to build it and do like the math and the science and the corresponding, and it's like extremely professionally done. Just it looks DIY, but the backbone and the sophistication is very professional.
It's engineered, okay? There's math involved. We used a compass. We measured.
I used a multimeter to make sure that the voltage was correct over distance, make sure our amperage didn't drop.
Yeah. So you used a level, like
I
stuff was
levels.
flat.
Definitely used levels.
You buried the wires
We
under the
definitely buried-
fucking lawn.
We did
Sorry
do
if
that.
I'm not allowed
No,
to
you can
swear.
say whatever you want.
Okay, cool.
We have no sponsors. I want to keep it that way.
Nice. Making no money. That's the way I like it.
Well, like if I can just keep doing this however I want, and then someday I do get sponsors, then they're sponsoring like how I like to do it. So I never have to like, oh, now I got to change the way I
smart.
do it. Because this is just extracurricular. Like, so I don't need it's whatever. But yes, very orchestrated, choreographed festival.
Yeah.
But people kept thinking 70s and the bubble letters. And I don't mind because especially if people are doing it for free and making things, I'm not going to complain. But towards the last 2 years, I started to be like, okay, I started to complain, especially by the last year. I'm like, we got one left. I think I should have some control over this and be like, let's
That's
not
fair.
do that and just kind of go with a more modern approach.
Yeah.
With a little bit of that, but not full on out like 1969.
It's a backyard festival, so it's going to have some foliage. There will be plants represented.
There wasn't that much. No, yeah, of course. That's what made it fun.
Plants.
You were completely around plants where you were selling art.
Yeah, it was like a wall of, I don't even know.
What was it like? I have never truly talked to an artist about the art tent experience. I've only just orchestrated them and like planned them, but I never actually talked to anybody about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done several like markets and different kinds of like conventions and stuff where I'm selling art, and they're all so different.
You've done a lot of them.
Yeah, at this point, I really enjoy doing them. I mean, some are like, it's probably like playing shows, like some are bangers and like it's a full.
Wait, what makes a banger art event of selling art?
A banger art event? I mean, well, honestly, DZ Fest was a banger art event.
Wait, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
DZ Fest was a banger art event.
You heard that, everyone?
It's a great place to sell your art because the people that go are going to support artists.
Yes.
It's not like other corporate festivals.
Like,
okay?
Come on, you got to help me call them out because I know which ones.
Riot Fest. Okay. I didn't even go this year.
Classic rubbing the nose after you said something heinous. Just,
That might be my tick. I've noticed I've been like scratching my nose a lot after
saying
like
some gnarly stuff about people.
saying
talking
some
crap.
hard truths to the people in my life. I'm like, hey, you gotta. I don't even know. Never mind. I don't know. Hey, man, you gotta pay the rent. Scratch nose. Hey, dude, can you not?
Don't you hate when you're put into like the most uncomfortable conversation? You're like, why do I? This is the adulthood thing we're talking about, the dread. And you're like, why do I have to have this conversation right now?
It's awful.
Like this, I'm not a parent. I get it if I'm a parent. You always have to have the uncomfortable conversation. But I'm like, I'm just another peer to another adult, and I got to treat them not like a child, but almost like a child right now. And it's kind of unfortunate. It could be
Yeah.
anything, but like when that has to happen, it happens to everyone. Sometimes it's every day if you teach. I teach, and sometimes I have to talk to other adults like,
College is a weird age because you're technically an adult, but you have no experience, like no
and
life
kids
experience.
These days is worse. They have even less because of they grew up raised by mom and dad called iPhone or Samsung.
Yikes! Yeah,
And they really, I'll have to tell them, like, you can just Google that. You know that. They'll ask me something kind of class related, but not like something only I would know. And I'll be like, I don't know, Google it. Like, you have the best ability in the world. You can just Google it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I was like,
that's
simple rule. If you don't know and I don't know, and the person around doesn't know, just Google it. Like
That's mind blowing. You would think that
they
like
don't.
it'd be better about like
They're better about very specific stuff within technology, but so much of the workarounds in technology they're not good at. It's almost like they're better at interfacing with pop culture technology, but not the actual mainframe of like how all it works. Like I would have thought that most would know more about processing power and RAM and hard drives and what that means because they're in technology. They're
right.
studying in literally technology, and they grew up with that stuff, and they still don't know what it means. They still don't know what these numbers represent. They don't know what any of it is. They don't know that they should close some of their tabs if they're working in a video software because it uses a lot of RAM. Like I thought everyone would have learned that by now, especially because you grew up with it.
Right.
Like I had to learn that stuff as an adult in my 20s.
Also on YouTube, like I mean, when we were younger and like in college and like really interested in a thing, like I was on YouTube all the time, like watching how to do stuff and like teaching myself how to do these things. You would think that like, oh, I'm interested in, you know, being an audio engineer or whatever it is, that there might be more, I don't know, a DIY approach.
You would think, but hey, I don't know. We're in a different era now. I mean, you're about to be 32. I'm about to be 34, so we're close. And the people that are 17, 18, 19, 20, don't know a world without a smartphone. They don't know a world without TikTok and Instagram. I mean, they might, but it's pretty much been around their whole adult life,
Right.
which is so weird. What is it doing to people's psyche of how they see themselves as far as their progress? The most important one, which is really affecting women, their looks and their abilities and their achievements, because they're always comparing to all these other things that aren't really real. You know,
Right.
what do we
What
do?
is it doing
What is
to
it
them?
doing?
It's making them worse, mentally ill. Oh my God, that wasn't a sentence. It's making their mental illnesses worse.
It's making them worse, mentally ill.
It's
That works. It's making them worse, come mentally ill.
That's like a bar in,
What has it
in
done
a
to
song.
you?
Oh man, it's made me withdraw more, like
Same.
from social media, because it's kind of like you either jump in and join in and start participating and doing TikToks to promote your band or your art or your like recording studio, or you kind of don't and you're like, fuck this, I'm leaving.
But it sucks if that's what you're trying to pursue, because now it
Right.
becomes the lanes you have to be in to be
Yeah.
taken seriously, air quotes, which is unfortunate to have to, like, everyone has to
Yeah.
now you have to do this and do that. And
It's so much
exhausting.
it's so much of like not doing the art that you want to make in order to like get people to just look at it for a second, you know?
And that's the thing, it's so quick. All this work, and it's just a fast
Yeah.
photo, video, sentence, live, or audio, and it's gone. What sucks, because, like, to make the art, to make the music, it could last forever. People can replay that music in many different mediums, from vinyl, which you got recently. Vinyl.
Yes, I
Congratulations.
did.
First vinyl?
Ever, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
Vinyl, cassette, CD, streaming, but people focus way more on just like this quick snippet of stimulation. I don't know what's going on, but it's getting weird. The AI thing's not helping. It is, but
No.
it isn't. It can help other things. I don't think it's going to be used well. So
No.
it's not helping, but
It very unfortunately is only, well, not only, but the way that we're seeing it being used is to just basically remove the need for like creative input from human beings, who are like the only creatures benefiting from making these things, you know? It's like AI isn't having fun like writing a song, you know,
or
like
doing some painting or
Yeah.
sketch or graphic design like
no,
you.
it's like regurgitating, it's copying, you know, other people. It's numbers at the end of the day, right? It all just boils down to that. And yeah, it's not expressing that thing that needs to be expressed as a person. And, people don't start making music and drawing and writing and doing all of these creative things to make money. Like, not at first, right? You do it to express yourself. But as you get older and you're like, oh, I've become good at this and I want to, like, I can, there's that glimmer of hope, like, I could make my career this thing that I love to do. And then you kind of start to, get your footing and making a little money. And then it's kind of like, oh, we've invented a thing that can just, like, do it for less money and faster, and now I can't be paid to do this thing I spent my whole life trying to do and hone that skill.
That's brutal.
And it's like, I mean, I don't know.
Tell us how you really feel. That drop in your voice volume and high pitch.
I think, kind of like you said, it can definitely be used to aid humanity and, like, better us as a species, but it's not really, not in the ways that it should be.
Right. Like
yet.
It could be an automatic robot that does the filthy work that it hurts humans.
Right.
Literally, like, cleaning up stuff.
Yeah.
Mining rare earth metals in the Congo. You can have robots and machines do that.
Like diagnosing people. I've heard of people
yeah.
like figuring out what's wrong with their pets and stuff. Like, vets are confused about, like, the symptoms their pet has, and then they, like, ask ChatGPT and it spits out, like, well, it sounds like it could be one of these 3 things. And they, like, bring it back to the vet and the vet runs a test and then it is that thing. That's like, okay, AI isn't all bad, but human beings suck and we always push like technology as far as it can go in like a morally, like, depraved direction until it's, like, no longer, like, because we're just curious. I think it's like, we're gonna ruin this. Like, this is cool right now, but we're gonna ruin it. Even cars, like, when cars were first invented long ago in, like, 1900 or whenever, that was probably so cool. And now we have, like, murder trucks made by, like, Elon Musk that are the size of a building that can murder an entire family, not even on purpose. That's just part of the fun of driving one. It just...
What do you mean, like his big Cybertruck?
Yes.
Why do you say murder truck?
Because aren't they enormous and, like...
Yeah, I think so. I don't know much about them. I think they're big. I've heard they're big. But why murder? Just because if they hit you, you'll be pulverized or something?
I should not be online so much, but...
Wait, are you talking about what you're saying right now? You should be online, or
yes.
You've heard stuff online, now you're regurgitating them, or both?
Yeah. So
this is why you stay offline.
I'm just too, I don't know. There's so much bad happening all the time.
What bad? Well, you brought up bad many times. What's so bad?
Well, okay, so regarding these big trucks, maybe I don't want to get sued or get you sued by accusing Elon Musk's trucks of murdering people, but...
It's satirical. We're joking.
There's, he's joking. I'm not. No, I'm kidding. You've gone to a Walgreens or a grocery store.
I have.
And you've seen, like, an 18-foot tall pickup truck for no reason. There are threads I've read online about how this is not funny. They, like, almost kill kids all the time because the driver cannot see people that are, below a certain height.
Mm-hmm. So the kid's running across to get a ball, you can't even see them.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you wouldn't even know
that
there was ever a kid there. And there would be no evidence because the truck is so big, it would just disintegrate the child. Anyway, that's what I meant by murder trucks. You can cut all of that.
Disintegrate. I don't know if they're making them vaporize into thin air, but I see your point. I don't
even remember why.
I have no take on vehicles.
Oh, AI. That's why.
AI.
And I was like, yeah, remember when cars were cool and now they're like just basically military tanks, like for no reason.
The Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some modern cars, like I have a Honda Civic that has that lane assist on like the Eastman
Yeah.
Highway, and it's crazy.
That's like the opposite of a murder truck.
It's so. I'm just saying it's so like that technology
Yeah.
is so beneficial for long durations, which I drive all the time, and so it helps to ease a lot of that strenuous movement in your neck and your arms. You
100%.
gotta kind of relax. You still keep an eye on it. It's not perfect, but it just helps you to kind of chill a little bit and not.
Yeah, it
have,
just nudges you if you start drifting in the
Oh, yeah.
desert when you're driving your friend to California.
We didn't finish so many conversations.
I know.
So, like I have to go back to the different types of festivals and selling art. We never went.
I would love to. Let's go back to that really
Let's go back
fast.
to that. So we said DZ, you said Riot Fest, then we were talking about other festivals or events that you sold artwork at and the differences between them.
Yes. Well, okay, so I've never sold art at Riot Fest, but I was looking into it because I was just curious about it. And I mean, first of all, the cost up front to sell for like the entire weekend for 3 days, or is it 4? It's 3, right?
3, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It was like almost $2,000 to like rent a little space and sell art.
Wait,
And
why don't you let everybody how much DZ Fest was for a weekend? Let them know.
I believe it was a suggested donation / buy a ticket to get in, which was $20.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even enforced. Like,
No.
so yeah,
And that was the first year I did that. I used to build the tables.
and I was like, thank you for fucking doing that, Ben. You make zero money doing this. Like, you have to feed yourself,
Right.
sir. Yeah.
I make zero. Oh, I
Right.
thought you meant the artist makes.
No,
I was gonna say,
you-
yeah, they don't. I don't. No one does it.
No, you got no. It was great because people come to DZ Fest to see smaller local bands or not. Like some of the big acts are on the bigger side, but like, still it's a very literal backyard event, and people are coming through to see predominantly local smaller artists and support local smaller artists. So it's a lot of people coming through looking to either buy directly from you or hit you up later. I mean, I've gotten so many contacts from just like being at DZ Fest. Like people have hit me up to design stuff for their band
Oh, that's
or like
awesome.
play shows or just
Oh yeah, for you it was both.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been really cool. It just brings like the best people together. I sincerely feel that way.
Thank you.
You're doing a great thing, Ben.
I
Great
try.
job.
I try. Really do. It has been hard.
But yeah, so what it was like selling art at DZ Fest. For market type things, that I have not sold at before, which I have sold at DZ Fest a few times now, but the first time going into it, I go in with really low expectations because you're like, I
have no
don't
idea.
know.
Yeah.
Like, does anybody show up? Like, I've never been to ZC Fest. Like, but no, I mean, it was an awesome turnout, a really great variety of artists, all kinds of people selling different things. There was like photographers there selling huge prints of their beautiful photos and sculpture, tattoo artists, people doing tarot, me selling prints and stickers, and
All kinds.
yeah, I mean, yeah, in events like that, you come out on top every time because, you're paying $20 or whatever for an entire day of selling your art.
Mm-hmm.
You sell one thing and it's like, oh, I made a profit. That's cool. So yeah,
So you sold some stuff then.
I did.
That's
yeah.
good.
Every
Glad.
time I've sold some stuff, it's cool.
Good.
And more importantly, just like made connections with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think like I have friends who are like road dogs, like do only art conventions as their job. And I think that's insane. I mean, like that's so impressive, but I'm like I can't wrap my head around it. Like it reminds me of like being in a circus or something. Like you were just pack up all your stuff and move on to the next town for the next convention. And then you
Yeah.
set up all your stuff and sell it. And it's just, yeah. So, I mean, for them, they have it much more down to a science where it's like, I know what sells, I know what sort of table setup, draws in people.
Display and stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so fascinating, like the science behind that. Like if I put this print here, it sells a lot more. Like whatever print is in this spot on my display, it sells a lot. So I can rotate, and I don't know, it's just so interesting. But
Marketing, an MBA in marketing would help a lot with that. Huh?
yes, I should go back to school. Columbia, I'm coming back.
They have marketing, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, markets and, conventions and things like that for me are just purely for fun and to like meet people. And it's
Yeah.
all just a good time. I'm
Yeah.
not really super concerned usually about making a ton of money because it's just like, I'm just happy to be here and like
Right.
meet people and,
Network.
yeah, exactly. You don't know who you're going to meet or, what those meetings could lead to down the road. So yeah, but no, genuinely, DZ Fest was one of the better ones of the DIY fests. Looking forward to the next DZ Fest, whenever that is.
Me too. It's a journey to do it at the scale I'm trying to do it at, because
I bet.
I got very. First of all, thank you for your kind words.
Of course.
It means a lot.
It's
I'm glad
genuine.
I'm glad it worked out for everyone. My goal was, well, this space already exists,
Yeah.
and I'm already paying to be here, like literally my monthly mortgage rent. So it doesn't hurt me to provide it as a space for people to sell their artwork. That helps everyone. It helps them. It helps the guests. It makes the festival overall look more official and nicer when there's like the more things. Like this past year, you probably saw even bigger difference than the year before as far as more stuff. It just makes it look, or past year, I mean 2022. It makes it look even better that more you have. So I'm like, I'll just keep having more and more artists. But the thing is, it took a long time to find 40 artists willing to sell their artwork that can come.
Yeah.
You artists out there, I mean, I'm one of them, not quite a visual artist, but wholly unreliable. I mean, artists would just fall through and they'd just be empty table spots. And I was just like, and I used to build the tables, put out the chairs. You literally had to show up with a curtain or a drape and like your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
I do think that's
so upset.
That's partially why markets started charging a fee because it's like, pay to hold your spot. It like incentivizes people to not flake on you.
I was
as
contemplating
much.
doing that as down and giving it back. Not all of it, but like, okay, like $200, and then I'll give you back like minus the cost of the front. So like whatever, just to like kind of, because some people, woke up a little tired or hungover. Like, oh, I'm not gonna go. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I have no idea. That's an excuse I made up, but like people have their excuses.
Yeah.
But for the most part, there was no issues, and I just enjoyed really getting a wide variety of artists, just so many different stuff all over the place. People selling clothes, metalwork, prints, paintings, unique stuff, pins.
Metal sculptures.
The metal sculpture stuff was a lot of work to get all of that there.
You helped with that probably?
She did a bunch of trips back and forth to the trailer and dropped it off. And we helped unload it. A lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very cool though. Yeah. I mean, I was grateful to grow it as much as I could. But between the festival, that is, between the no insurance, which was terrifying, and the risk of things happening, the rain, all that, danger, harm, alcohol, drugs.
Yeah, bad people coming through, making a scene.
All that stuff. Also got tired of like the living situation there was very difficult. So I was like, I think just do 10 years here, perfect bookend, no issues with any years, no bad things, no marks on it, on the name, and make a documentary about it, and then use that and go forward and try to leverage this to go bigger with it. So currently just shopping for sponsors and investors because I have everything else ready to go. Like I have all of the information to do it, all the people the stagehands, the companies, the speakers, the tents.
Wow.
Like everything is ready to go. I just need
Pay for it,
money.
someone.
So, yeah, looking for that. I'm not worried about finding bands or artists anymore because once that does happen and I post about it, we're good.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really just needing the money. Yeah, like everything in
Man.
life. But it'll be more safe, real security, insurance, legit companies running the stages and the lighting and the video and there won't, which it's bittersweet because that was really fun to be with your
Yeah.
friends doing all that. Like it was pretty wild.
It is pretty charming. And
Yeah.
when it's like everybody working the lights or the soundboard or the cameras is like a homie or
Yeah,
somebody that
just all
lives with you.
friends. Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, hey, I blah, blah, blah with Ben, or I know Ben through blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're all just hanging out. We're all just friends. That's
It
cool.
was very strange to like hang out with your friends and then just throw on a crew shirt and it's like you do this thing.
I'm your boss now. Do as I say. No, you're not getting paid.
But yeah, right. Yeah, right. To be fair, I wasn't either. And to be extra fair, I sure always put my money where my mouth is because anything I made someone else do, I did it too.
Oh, yeah.
Times a million, you know?
You got so much cardio. I saw you running around, dude, doing laps. I would be like, oh, cool, Ben's over there. I'm going to go say hi. Now it seems like a good time. And I would like turn away and turn back, and you're gone. I'm like, cool, never mind. I'll thank Ben later. And then I think
Yeah.
like last summer, I didn't get to like talk to you really until I was leaving. I was
Yeah.
like, thank you so much. Bye.
It's a stressful time. I mean, building all that stuff by
Yeah.
hand and doing all and orchestrating in the emails. I mean, 40 bands, 40 artists, dozens of people in the city, dozens of neighbors, 50 plus volunteers, the restaurants, the coffee shop. I'm like texting and emailing like hundreds and hundreds of people just by myself. Like,
Yeah. How?
you get really good at like pseudo multitasking. You know, they say neurologists say you can't multitask. It's
Right.
like I layer. You can layer. Good at layering, and you find out like if you have a tablet, a phone, a laptop, you got some good music on. You can, if you're having to like render stuff, you render. On your phone, I'm doing the text messaging. On the laptop, I'm doing the researching, so I could let my computer do all the rendering for like a video or audio. And you just like rotate while the laundry's going, while your steak is getting up to temperature. Like you just find ways to layer, and you just kind of hop around layering. And the best way to do that is just like good sleep, good diet. Don't do a lot of drugs, and have nice people around you. Because like all those other things can be quite distracting if those aren't in tune. Then the rest of the chaos that I'm juggling falls apart.
Yeah.
And it was an impossible thing. I mean, I just, to do it, you have no life. You have no social life. You don't go out. You don't do anything your friends are doing. They all stop asking to hang out with you, even though you are around them all the time. Because they know your answer is, I can't. I got to do
Yeah.
this DZ thing. And so you have to just like learn to give up everything normal, like even remotely close to normal, to live feels normal to me.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not. So yeah, that's how you do it. And finding really good people when it's time to delegate work and make it happen. You have some people you can trust. Like obviously the day of you saw tons of people. I wasn't
Right.
doing everything. So I just found the right people. Okay, they can film, they do that. And you just trust and hope that it works. And of course there was stuff that didn't work and you just kind of, well, I guess we're not going to use that shot. It's really shaky. So we'll just go to the next one. That's why we put 5 cameras up there. So hopefully 3 work, you know?
Hopefully one of them
Hopefully one works.
is in focus and pointing the right way.
Yeah, it happens, you know. But it was a lot of work. It was a lot of, not always healthy, how much work it was.
It doesn't sound healthy
It
to
wasn't.
me. You're like, yeah, I've got it down. I've got like 3 computers and an iPad, and I'm like also on a treadmill and like
In between like things just to clear my mind, like go do, 50 push-ups and hop back up, get behind, do this thing. And like every morning go for a walk. The walks were I still do them every morning for 5 miles every day, no matter what the weather.
wow.
And it helps to clear your head, but also I plan out the whole day. And then on my phone, I'll write a note of every single thing I have to do that day. And like, that's how I start every day and just like organize it, especially on days that you're not beholden to anything. So if I'm not teaching, when I'm beholden to that, I follow that calendar and those rules and the guidelines. But when you, as you know, doing your own work, you know, any freelance work, anything, even a small business, when you are in charge of it, it takes a lot of time and discipline to learn how to like do that. Because normally when you start a job, you have a boss tell you what to do, a manager, somebody. But when you are your own boss, it can get quite murky and gray.
Oh, for sure.
You're like, wait, should I work? Should I not? I mean, who's going to tell me I can't? And it's like, don't think like that all the time because you'll get nothing done.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
you'll just, you know, your life is your job then, you know.
It's been dangerous, the whole life job thing. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know how to separate these things. I don't.
I mean, you love it, right?
I do.
Yeah, so that's part of the problem. Don't do what you love. It'll take over your life.
If you do if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Or you'll work all day, every day.
I was just going to say, if you do what you love, you'll work every day of your life.
Yeah. Do what you love and you'll work every single day with no vacations, holidays, or no PTO.
Yeah, when friends are like, oh, we're doing this on that day, it's a holiday. I'm like, I don't have holidays off. If it's a Monday, I'm going to work it out. You know how many holidays are on Mondays? All of them. Like, not all of them.
Every day's a holiday when
right.
You're doing what you love for your job.
It's stressful, but I mean, you do a lot of stuff where you...
I guess I do somehow. I don't feel like I do all that much, but then I kind of look at it and I'm like, I guess it does kind of seem like I am always
when you work
doing
full time. Do you still work?
Yeah, yeah,
Throughout this?
I do. Yes, I work full time. I get through my work as quickly as possible so I can do other work.
You're not supposed to say this on the air.
I know.
I think you realized it as you were saying. You're like, I'm gonna snip out that sound you just made. Sound like a mouse being tickled or something.
Want me to clap?
No.
Okay.
I don't edit.
It's too late. So I'm. Oh frick. Okay. God damn it. Okay.
It's fine.
It's okay. I'm being honest.
I know what you do. You finish your work early so you can get more work done.
Right. I mean, I am very efficient at my job, my day job. I am very efficient, and I'm at my desk already. My supplies are there. Sometimes I don't take lunch breaks. I take several mini breaks instead.
Are you like 9 to 5, 8 to 4?
And by several mini breaks, I just mean I don't know when I'm taking a break yet. I just end up, I'm just taking a break and I don't know how much time has passed, but I know that I'm available and I get my work done at my 9 to 5 whenever I need to get it done. This episode is blacklisted. It's not allowed to come out.
I love people who don't do podcasts and like talk a lot in public, which you clearly don't. And I love it because it's really fun. This
bitch doesn't know how to talk.
She's not tough. She doesn't know how to talk.
You're not tough. You can't talk. You suck. Get out of here. Never podcasted in my life. No PR training.
You constantly are saying something and you're like, I shouldn't. I wouldn't worry about it.
I mean, yeah, I don't.
You haven't said anything incriminating.
It's fine. I'm going to just, I do a lot of things. I have a day job. I make time in my day to also do commission work and work on other projects that matter to me.
Insert your Instagram, people can find you.
At Moongerm.
Spelt M-O-O-N.
M as in Mary, O-O-N as in Nancy, G-E-R-M as in Mary. That's me on Instagram and various other social media platforms.
TikTok?
No. Well, I made one, but I don't know. Oh, you know what? No, I didn't. No, I'm not on TikTok, so don't look for me.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
I do have a Twitter.
X? What do you call it now? You seem over everything.
I have a Twitter, and it's my safe space, so don't follow me there.
What do you mean?
It's a garbage dump for just, I have like no followers, so I just get to post stupid
Is it like
thoughts.
anonymous? Like, could people tell it's you?
Generally, no. I mean, like the at is at Moongerm, so that's the thread that ties us all together, I guess. But us, I don't know who I'm talking about. I am several people. But yeah, I don't have pictures of myself. I'll very occasionally post art for like my random Twitter friends that I have only met through Twitter who don't know me otherwise. I'm like, here you go, Twitter friends. Like, I sometimes draw. Here you go. You can look at this. Don't take any of my advice on being an artist, I guess.
What is the advice you'd give to someone on being an artist?
Yeah,
And take this advice, everyone.
I guess it depends on what their goals are because I have a lot of friends that do art full time, just freelance work. And they're very intelligent about how they use their time, about like making social media posts, hashtagging and keywords and, sharing stuff everywhere, like having no discretion or shame about that. So that I am not going to be able to give you good advice on how to do that because kind of like what we were talking about earlier, the kind of rat race of social media, I'm not really interested in keeping up with that. If you find me and you like what I'm doing, give me a follow. Sure, why not? If you're weird or a hater or something, don't. But
Do you get a lot of those
no, but
weird haters?
just weird. Weird. A lot of weird on the internet,
Right? Weird on the internet, particularly weird for younger women
Definitely.
like yourself. I've gotten weird stuff, but it weirds me out, but doesn't scare me.
What kind of stuff do you get?
It's nothing like what you would get because I'm not a woman. I'm not a young woman. So like that, you're going to start getting stuff into more just, you know what you get. I ain't got to tell
Yeah.
you. But what I would, we can talk about that in a second, but what I would get.
Mansplain sexual harassment. I mean, no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what you get, okay?
Oh, okay. That's what I get. Cool.
This is what
Thank you.
get.
I needed that. I needed someone to tell me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome. I'm here all day. Literally, I live here. Strange things. Some things I haven't really talked about a lot because it's so bizarre. And I, if they listen, which they probably may, I don't like to give them any.
Yeah.
love. But
Can you give like a vague?
yeah, I can give some stuff. For the last, I have welcomed in, not being hyperbolic, tens of thousands of people into my home. Significantly more than anybody ever does on planet Earth. And why would you? I don't blame you. With that comes some really amazing pros. Like right now, you're in my home. This is great. Some really negative things. Big, big negative things. People can creep on you. People can stalk you because they know these personal things now. People can hide in mass at your events and shows to do weird stuff because you can't because everyone's there, so it's public. People, I make a ton. I have made a lot of content over the last 10, 15 years. So
Yeah.
people could take that and piece it together and do weird stuff with it. People can make really weird videos
people
out of the
done
things you
that?
do. Yes. Yes, they have.
You're like a little celebrity. Gosh, that's awful. You're famous, kinda. You're getting like a microdose of all the bad stuff that happens when you're famous.
You made me laugh.
And you keep doing it. That's great.
Well, so the problem with notoriety, popularity, or fame is it's not bad when it's attached to something we call money.
Right.
Because then you can, if you are getting noticed a lot and people bother you and do weird stuff on the internet to you, but you have millions of dollars, it's like, okay, I can just go to my castle, like whatever.
Yeah.
I can go fly first class or private. You can do whatever you want.
I'm ready for the DZ Records bomb shelter. That's coming up.
You're in it.
That
now.
first million. Anyway, sorry.
I don't have that kind of money, and I'm
Right.
close. So I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me more in person than through the internet. The internet is grossly underestimating how many people I've interacted with and know about the fest and the studio and the podcast and all that stuff. So it gets weird out there. And I've received weird phone calls, weird messages, text messages, but it's only been a small portion of the people who reached out. 99% of everyone who reaches out have been amazing.
Yeah.
Super nice. Some of the nicest compliments I've ever received by people I don't know. Beautiful stuff, inspiring stuff. That's worth doing it. Like, that doesn't bother me. If I will say, over all the strange occurring things that have happened the last decade at my old house, through the shows, through the fest, messaging, emails, phone calls, weird videos people make and put on YouTube. If I were you, like a younger woman, I would be terrified and I wouldn't be doing this anymore. So, two things that I tried to make sure I do for people, for women, LGBTQ plus, and minorities is I don't have to deal with what they have to deal with.
Right.
So I face it headstrong, pretty fearless. Because it's like, what are you going to do to me? Like, I'm scarier than you are. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to mess with me. I'm a little crazy. So
I'm real scary.
I'm
No,
quite scary.
you don't seem scary to me.
Because you didn't see me mad.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I've only ever seen Ben smiling and very kind. Most people probably have only seen you that way.
Very few people have seen me mad. But one guy at
You
DZ
haven't
Fest,
seen me mad.
You're not scary.
Okay. This is why people are going to mess with me online, because I'm not scary. You heard it here first. Just kidding. No, I am. I'm very scary.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I try to be as peaceful and polite as possible, even to the weird things that have happened. But if I had to truly like defend and lose it, I'd go all out. Like,
Yeah, why not?
yeah,
Fuck it.
yeah. But luckily, I haven't had to yet. Yeah, it's just weird stuff. I mean, this guy. I'll show you after this off air, but I could describe it. This guy made a really weird video. Weird.
What the hell?
Weird. Like,
Oh my God.
Like, my name is in his phone. He made a video of it and then had someone call him so my name popped up and he answers it. It's weird. I'll stop there. It's so weird.
It's a nightmare out there. It's being online is pretty freaky.
It's significantly more worrisome for someone like yourself, again, because the actions that could happen just have so much more consequences. It's more likely to be something not good. Whereas with me, it's probably just gonna be nonsense, people talking crap or like doing weird stuff. But no one is to act on it. I wouldn't feel threatened walking down the street. You know, I just wouldn't. But I could see why some people would. And what I worry about are the women who overly expose themselves on the internet. Not that I have a problem with them doing it, because I don't like do whatever you want. I don't care what anyone does with their body. Really don't. I'm worried about the potential danger it could bring you. And I don't just mean sexual things exposing or showing skin, just like always showing a little too much of like everything on the internet.
Yeah.
Because it's like, is it worth trying to make money that way? It's risky. It's risky.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no idea though, but I don't really care what people do. I'm just more concerned about humans.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, same. I don't care. I'm a cautious person, so I don't. I also just don't really personally enjoy that attention online.
Yeah, you're quite private about it.
You know, like
which is nice. That's good.
My larger Instagram account is my art account, and it's always so disheartening when it's like, oh, okay, like here's a picture of my face with my art, and like that performs so much better than like the actual art ever does. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay. And, like there's people that kind of use that to their advantage, where it's like,
Hold on, kind of.
well,
You're being very sweet. We
like,
didn't have to go down that wormhole. We already know what's going on with people doing that.
yeah, I mean,
I've talked about that a lot.
yeah, it's like,
It drives me crazy because it's it's so obvious. But I mean, I don't know what to do because like that's the way it's
yeah,
working now. Like that's what works.
right. And it's like, is there a right answer? I don't
No,
know. Not
I'm
really.
not truly judging. It's just so obvious, like what that person's doing, because it's so true.
Right.
The photos I post, and it's different because I'm a man, so it doesn't really work the same way. If I'm in it,
Yeah.
it doesn't get that much more. But women can definitely get a lot more likes and shares and all that jazz with themselves in it.
Yeah. I mean, on
For
one
sure.
hand, I'm like, yeah, dude, if you're trying to like make $1 and like posting your face on your feed or like, a sexy photo and like your art's in the background and that like gets you enough sales to like pay rent, that's cool. Like go for it. But it also like kind of bums me out that it's like I guess if I was in their position, it would bother me. Like, are they supporting me because I look a certain way or because of what I'm making or
Yeah.
the message I'm trying to spread with my music or my art?
Yeah.
Like that,
Well, that's
the
because you have.
dissonance between that would bother me. People it doesn't bother, like, I mean, go off, right?
Sure.
I guess.
But what happens down the road when you're 45 or 50 and you don't look the same and you can't use that anymore and you didn't establish a strong constitution of work ethic and skills? And that's where it's like, I think of just like the little girls,
Yeah.
like, because I have a niece now. So I'm like, I see them like, you should be able to do with your body what you want. That's fine. But like, take more pride in the craft and the art, because if you're doing the art thing,
Yeah.
because that is really where your heart and mind should be. If you're using your looks and body to sell it, that will only work for so long, and it might attract the wrong clients, guests, and people
Definitely.
that might not be as open as you or might look at it in a bad way, take advantage of it. I don't know.
It's such a fine line too, because it's, if you're a woman and you like to dress, or any kind of person and you like to dress a particular kind of way, that shouldn't necessarily inherently like invite any different kind of attention. If it's just like, I'm just trying to exist and like wear a tank top,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to like, I don't know. It's difficult. It's a very difficult
It is.
thing to navigate.
Yeah.
We need some maps. We need an atlas
I can make an atlas of the
of how to
Instagram.
navigate, like being
It's not going to go away because it's so
just making
useful now.
sounds.
It's not going to go away.
right.
It works so well. I mean, you said it yourself when you post a photo with yourself in the art, or just yourself. It changes.
Yeah.
It interacts with the masses much differently.
It's all so strange. Like doing conventions and stuff. I feel the same way a lot of the time. I don't know sometimes if people are coming up to talk or support because they're like attracted to the art or they just like how I look or something. And that does kind of hang over me like the whole time. I'm like, am I a fraud? Like,
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. I guess
I mean, I don't know.
fraud isn't
I don't
the right
know
word, but
because it's very different. Not saying it's better or worse or your situation's not valid. It's just different for men.
it's, I mean, yeah, no.
So I can't relate. I try to, but I just can't because I've never had that. I don't think people just come up to me and do that because of the way I look. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I mean, and with music and stuff, just being like having a visual representation of the person behind the art changes how people are going to interact with it, which is so weird for anybody, not just women. Like if you're a man or you're gay or you're non-binary or something, it's going to change who supports you and who doesn't.
Right.
Just based on that alone, it's like very interesting.
Absolutely true. It's like I brought up, I don't know, 10 minutes ago about like, because I don't have to deal with what women are dealing with minorities or people from other countries or being part of the LGBTQ community. Since I don't have to deal with, I don't mean deal in a bad way. I don't. My life doesn't come with those
Yeah.
problems. I can take on the weight of something like the fest because I thought about it as I've gotten older and as I've got left there, and I don't think many other people. Obviously, it takes a certain person to do that, but I don't think many people could have done it if it was a black man or a woman because of the way the police and the city and the mayor and the neighbors would have handled it.
Right.
If I had a different accent, if I didn't have an American English accent, if I wasn't educated, like the list
Yeah.
goes on of why I was able to make it work, So yeah, it's the internet with art and music and women is so tricky.
It's weird.
It's so tricky.
I think just being a person online and having anything to share is so strange these days.
You're not a fraud, by the way, because you said that to yourself. Like,
Oh, well, thank you.
definitely not. You make great art. It's completely
Thank you. Wow.
warranted. I mean, look at this.
I would
sticker.
make it regardless,
Look at
but
this sticker.
yeah, okay, so advice for artists. I think it's important to make the art that you actually want to make and not what you think is trendy or cool or popular in the moment. Or, like if you happen to share something online and people really interact with that piece a lot and they really like it, don't feel pressured to continue making art like that just because it got a lot of engagement or something. Like if you stay true to what you're interested in and what you like, you will, if your goal is to amass an audience or something or a following, people will, you will just by being consistently yourself attract a following, and it will set you apart from what is trendy, which there's so much sameness online as well right now. Like people look the same people all want to look the same, I should say.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, right? Like
I think so. Sometimes I just want you to say because it's
women like I feel like there's a look right now that's very in for women, like to have a specific face and like features.
like
Anime face.
all right. So I'm gonna get this out the way. I don't understand face filters. I don't understand filters in general.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's bizarre to me. And I don't know. I don't know what to do, but I mean, I don't use them. A lot of people do. I don't get it, but I don't know. I would recommend if you do use them, maybe talk to yourself as to why you think you're using them or why you should use them. And if you don't like the way you look, then you just might take a little bit more outside work, outside of the internet,
Yeah.
to get to that place, and that's okay. But the filter thing is bizarre.
It's weird to me when people like celebrities get a ton of work done and then they still use a filter on top of that. I'm like, didn't you achieve the look you wanted?
I don't even get
like
the
why
work
are you
done thing.
further making it impossible to keep up?
I don't get plastic surgery. Oh my god, there's so many things I'm like, I don't understand this at
You're
all.
just a boomer now.
I had plastic.
We are boomers.
I had legit plastic surgery. There's a place for legit plastic surgery. Usually people who had surgeries that
Yeah.
they're disformed and they got it disfigured, and they use it to make you whole again. It's actually a great thing. Saves a lot of people's emotional and mental distress that they can feel when
Definitely.
they look alienated.
Yeah.
Feel alienated. Look like an alien and feel alienated. But to just do it because there's one I've been noticing and it freaks me out, and I could tell right away, and it's the lip one. And I've been seeing it on like really beautiful women that are young. And I'm like, you don't need that. No one needs it, but you certainly
Yeah.
don't need it. Why would you do that to yourself?
I think, like, thankfully with that, it goes away over time, right? It's not like a permanent change, but, you know,
I mean, I don't know, do what you want. I just wish more wholesomely for like humanity. I just wish people didn't feel the need to have to do that
yeah.
to themselves. Like they don't feel good enough. It's like who's your inner circle? Your friends that aren't and your family that aren't like supportive of how you are and how you look that you want
It's
to do
hard.
this stuff.
It's hard because a lot of the time I don't think it's friends and family making people feel like they need to do these things. I think it's just kind of like
The internet,
we've been talking about this whole time.
Instagram,
Yeah. Like
TikTok.
the like constant comparing of yourself and the way that you look to other people, and you know, certain celebrities and stuff kind of perpetuating a very niche like look and this beauty standard that's not really realistic, and it makes people feel like, you know, they want to keep up with that and they have to look that way in order to achieve success or be
Do-
liked or loved or whatever.
Did your mom talk to you about this kind of stuff at all?
No, not really.
'Cause I always wonder that, like, if I were a mother and had a daughter, because there's different conversations that need to be had between a father and a son, and a mother and daughter, and father to daughter, and like switching it up. But there's very specific ones, and I can go back and forth on both. I'm not just picking on women. I'm picking anybody, but
I'm picking fights.
picking fights here. But I feel like as a mother, it would probably behoove you to explain to your daughter, like lay it out for them. Like, so they look this way for a couple different reasons, daughter. Little Karen.
Oh my God.
Daughter.
It's about to heal my soul.
One is genetics, and nothing you can do about that. That's one of them. Another one is lifestyle. Now, why do they get to have that lifestyle? And that lifestyle comes with money because it's expensive to eat very, very clean and healthy and go to Pilates and yoga and the gym. It costs money. Why they can do that is because they get paid well in these roles, so it feeds their beauty. And they could literally, their job is just to look good. So while mommy and daddy go to work for 40, 50 hours a week, and like we have to do that, they go and for 40 hours a week, just make sure they look good all the time. So it keeps building them up. So you should never really be able to look like them unless you struck like lottery gold and you come from means of genetics. That is lottery gold genetics. You should never really look like them. And like explain it to them. You're going to probably be different, and so are your friends, based on your financial background and your access to things and your access to education and the right lotions. I mean, so many celebrities are using the top-notch creams and lotions and things that most people just can't afford $100, stuff like that. So it's like, I get why they look that way. I get why, Hugh Jackman and Chris Hemsworth and Brad Pitt look that way. Like, all their job is to look like that. Like, if that's all you had to do, like, that's all you have to do is just, like, look good, eat well. Like, they're paid to be beautiful.
Honestly, yeah, I mean, kind of talking about showing your face and your art online, it's being a celebrity, it's just doing that. It's just showing your face, like you are the product.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that has to be so bad for your mental health and
sure
your brain.
it's tricky.
It's like,
sure
I
it's
have
tricky.
to never age or else, like, this is all I am worth. Like, looking this way is all I can contribute to society. So, gotta make it last as long as I can.
As long as I can.
That 45-year-old billionaire who's like trying to age in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about this person?
Mm-hmm.
It's so freaky. It's like, why? To what end? Like, why do you want to live forever?
I would like to live a long, healthy life. I wouldn't want to live forever. Like, if I had to pick, well, how about this before I say, what age would you like to just keel over at?
69. No, I don't know. God,
Oh,
like,
guys, she used to get arrested, okay? She's punk rock.
I've been arrested by the mall cops once.
I just think of Kevin James or like Seth Rogen, like a mall cop,
Yeah.
just arresting you.
No, it was actually this like scary short woman. And then in the back room was like this big fat guy, and he was just laughing with his arms crossed, like, hey, we got you now.
Sounds like Dr. Robotnik from Sega, from Sonic.
Kind of. He had no hair, though, just completely bald. But it was, yeah, not to go on a tangent about that. What was I saying? I forgot.
Something about talking about art and women
Oh, yeah.
posting.
Just being celebrities
Mm-hmm.
are the art, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, no, I don't want that. They can have that.
They
I
can
don't want to
have that.
be that at all. That's so much pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That's like most people in general probably think way too much already about what they look like and like just how they're being perceived all the time, and that's like exhausting. That's this weird layer of just heaviness all the time on your mind.
Have you ever found a way around that for yourself? Like, do you do anything to not think about that so hard?
Not looking in a mirror.
How
Honestly,
often do you look in the mirror?
I don't know. Most day, like if I'm leaving my apartment, I will scrutinize and be like, okay, I'm going to see other people.
Do you say it out loud?
I don't know. I might. My internal dialogue is my external dialogue.
I don't know if I talk to myself.
I
out
don't
loud.
think so. It depends on how much sleep I got. But yeah, it's different. If I'm going to go out into the world, it's like, okay, do I want to look sleep deprived and unkempt? Or do I want to be like present as like I take care of myself kind of a person?
Right? I do,
Yeah.
right? I take care of myself, right?
Yeah.
Do you, so I mean, it has to vary from age to age and gender to gender. It has to change, and ethnicity to ethnicity. Like
Yeah.
these things all change. I don't know what that's like. I honestly look in the mirror twice a day for like 5 seconds, and it's when I'm brushing my teeth
Yeah.
to make sure I have nothing in my teeth.
Yeah.
I don't look at the mirror, and I found a way to circumvent worrying about how I look to people when I was like 12, and it was just wear whatever you want of all different colors and patterns all the time, whenever, and then everything is just always a little wacky, so it doesn't matter. And I've never not done that, and it has always worked, and I always feel very comfortable, and
That's
I don't ever think
great.
about it.
That's awesome.
But that works for me.
Not-
Obviously, everyone's
yeah.
different.
I think, just kind of similarly, just not really, find what is genuinely comfortable for you to wear and what you like yourself in. And, it's hard. Also, you're in a band or several.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be perceived by people, and sometimes people are taking videos or pictures and putting them on the internet and tagging you, and then you see yourself and it's like a mental breakdown.
Why?
Like, because it's like, oh man, that's
about
what
it?
I look like. Man, I'm so dumb. I look so stupid.
What-
But
why would you look? You're just wearing what you wear.
well, I feel like I'm a lot better now, but it's hard, man. Just I don't know. I don't know. I'm so glad I wasn't born in like 2002 and being like a teenager.
21-year-old Karen right now.
I don't know, man.
You probably liked My Chemical Romance.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I still assuming that I would have even heard of them since they're like a dad rock band now.
So many of my students love them now. They've had a huge resurgence.
That's amazing.
Resurgence of popularity amongst like 18 to 22-year-olds. I couldn't believe it.
That's incredible.
Because I used to see between like 2003, 2007, like every emo, screamo, hardcore, pop, punk, like that whole world, and I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. I saw all of them, like concerts on concerts of like, it's Census Failed and Taking Back Sunday and Seosin and Thursday and Aiden and like Armor for Sleep, like all in one bill. Like,
That was Riot Fest this past weekend.
right. I saw a lot of mini Riot Fests growing up, but like at the House of Blues and the Metro and Aragon and Riv and Big, like all that stuff. And I thought that music it must have faded. That was like 15, 20 years ago. No, like so much of that's popular now because enough time, a generation went by.
Yeah.
It was uncool by like 2010, 11, 12. It kind of fell out a little bit by then. It kind of went down. And then now that enough time's passed with the new generation, coupled with the people that still like it from our generation.
Right.
You put it together and you still get millions upon millions of fans, if not more. Plus the boom in vinyl. Because a lot of
True.
them start
Yeah.
getting vinyl at Hot Topic, selling it. Younger kids start buying it. So both those together, plus viral videos on TikTok of somebody or this, that, whatever it is. Yeah, it's very interesting how like these cycles have happened. And you might not know it because you're not in the age group. I just see them all the time because we're
Right.
students.
Right.
And I had no idea. And
Yeah.
I was naming the bands I used to see, and they're like, "Oh my god, you've seen those bands?" I'm like, "Yeah, like what? Who cares?"
That's so
They're
interesting.
like, "What do you mean? The My Chemical Romance?" And I'm just naming all those bands from that era. Brand New, and I used to love Brand New. I saw them so many times. Anyway,
Extremely talented band. Yeah.
ended badly.
Womp.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah. I feel like I thought I saw something about they're gonna be touring again at some point. I mean, all right.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that gray black area of like 20-something-year-olds like texting teenagers. Like I don't know what to that's so because it's weird, but like I technically think that's not illegal until they do send
Right.
something. So like it's weird. Like
It
I wouldn't
is, yeah.
recommend it, but it's,
It's
not
just-
like it's not illegal. I just wouldn't do that.
It's weird,
bad etiquette.
good. It's not good or encouraged behavior, and you shouldn't do that. And somebody should tell you to knock that shit off for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This has been a weird conversation. A lot of like
Sorry.
sad. There's positive things though. Well, you came in all like, "What is hard and it sucks," and you're just all
Things
pessimistic.
are so shitty
Yeah.
and bad.
What's so bad?
You know,
There's probably a million good things going on in your life.
that's true. Yeah, I feel like on a very personal, like small scale, if I'm just focusing on my community and my life and my
Okay.
friends and family and stuff, things are good. Like I'm in control. I get to do the things that make me happy every day.
You're creative. You're talented.
Yeah.
You have a job.
I know,
You
right?
play music.
Yes,
you
I
got
get
vinyl. You're on a podcast.
health insurance.
You get health insurance. You make posters. You
I'm
got
still alive. I
stickers.
take vitamins.
You take
like,
vitamins.
Yeah, things are like
You have your hair.
I have a lot of hair. Not complaining really about that. On like a big scale, looking at like
The earth.
and being like at this age, and it's like, do I want to be a mom? And it's like, but it's so expensive to just have a child. Like you're given a bill after giving birth, and
You gotta have it
I don't
in
know.
the
It's
bathtub.
so strange. Yeah, just poop it out in the barn out back, and
It is strange, but something it's weird about because our parents and their parents had a lot of kids with way less money. And I think the biggest difference now, yes, things have gotten more expensive, but I think the amount of inanimate objects that we decide we need to pay for, that we bestowed upon ourselves, has gone up exponentially since 1950. Like little Timmy born in 1950, when what he needs to give him some blocks of wood.
yeah.
It costs nothing.
Play with these,
Because
kid.
it's
I
the
don't know.
wood that Dad cut off when he was building the shed. So he just takes those extra cut off blocks. This is how I grew up, boy. I almost am a boomer. I'm almost like part of the greatest generation, the way I was raised. It's so darn old school. And I almost fought in World War II. I swear to God, I'm so old. But yeah, you give him some blocks and maybe like a soldier, and maybe he listens. If you have a home radio, you don't have a TV yet in the house. There's no phones. There's no social media. And yeah, he can go to camp through the church if he, if he does the youth group. That's what I did. All my camping was free as a kid because I just got free scholarships for the youth group I was in. Like,
Yeah.
you find really fun and creative ways to do everything. I don't remember. I know I didn't make money and spend it as a kid, but I don't remember spending much money to exist, like even via my parents, because they didn't have any. So like they didn't let us spend money. So it was like If you saved up a couple bucks, go buy yourself some candy or some baseball cards. Like that's as far as it goes on expenses. And we didn't have cable, the internet.
Yeah.
You spend money on nothing, and it's like, oh, that's how they raise 3 kids with like crap pay. Now we're like, my kids got to have the best this and the this, and they got to have Nikes and Gucci and this, and they got to look good and have Burberry glasses, and it's like, what? No wonder it's expensive to have a kid. No, they don't need any. A kid does not understand the value of a dollar. They don't understand currency exchange. They don't understand inflation. They know nothing. So it doesn't need to be that much money. But then we're like, there's plastic in the food, so we got to buy organic food. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it doesn't end. And then you go, okay, I guess it is expensive. Because if you want to make sure your kid's super duper healthy.
Well, and, our parents and our parents' parents, it was like the dad's salary was enough to pay for everything, and it's
Right.
no longer that way.
No, inflation has rocked us.
And,
We are the
daycare
right.
is,
Ugh.
I have friends with kids, and it's, they ended up just quitting their jobs because it cost as much as their salary to just pay for someone else to watch their kid. So it's just like
It is crazy.
very difficult to save, and I don't know.
Do
So
you-
that's just one of like the
That's a
million
big
things that are,
existential thing.
that's, just, I guess, off the cuff. That's like one pretty not good thing about the US. I also know people in Europe who, like, when they lived in the US, they weren't planning on having kids, but now that they have like good health care and, access to things that everybody should have access to raise a kid, they're like trying to have kids and stuff, which, yeah, it's crazy.
So you want to have a kid?
Oh, I have no idea.
Right.
Mom, stop listening. I don't know.
Does your mom ask you about it a lot?
No, my mom's the best. She doesn't give me any, like, she's not pressuring me in any direction to do anything with my life. She's
Honey,
just,
don't do anything with your life. No pressure.
whatever you do. Like, I don't care as long as you're alive. And
Is it something more you and your lady friends talk about now at your age?
yeah,
than
and
ever
also
before?
like weirdly, my mom's friends are like, "So, when are you having kids?" And I'm like, "Whoa, geez. First of all, I need a raise first.
Yeah.
But yeah, Also, just when I feel like it, maybe,
Is it something you kind of think about? Have you thought about more like the older you've got? Was it something like 10 years ago you're like, oh, I'm never having kids?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then like 27 you're like, nah. But then something happens.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of, unfortunately, biology is a thing, and it's like you can only have kids up until this certain age, probably, or at least where
Safely.
it's safe. Yeah. So it's, gotta decide. Are you sure? And it's like everywhere you look, people are like, are you sure about that? Are you sure you don't? You're going to die alone and be empty inside if you don't. And I'm like, well, I don't.
Maybe.
I don't think I would, but maybe. And then what if? And that's too late.
What if I do? You
But
can
then
always-
I'll just adopt. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel.
yeah.
If it becomes like a thing where I'm like, I definitely do, and I definitely can no longer do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I also, a lot of my best friends want children, so I will have access to children. There will be kids in my vicinity.
Why does that only work if a woman says that? If I said that, it'd be so creepy.
Wait, what do you mean?
I have access to children.
Oh.
There's children in my vicinity.
I mean, it's probably creepy if I say it too.
No, it's not nearly as creepy as if I just said it like that. Like, oh
Some-
my God. I can't even say it. They'll cut it out and use it for something bad. I never
True,
said
yeah,
that.
don't do that.
That's funny, though.
Don't be weird, people.
It's like if you went to a park and you saw a woman just sitting at the bench, you would think nothing of it. If you saw a man by himself and you just never saw him interact with a kid for hours, you'd be like, okay, what the heck is he
Right.
doing here?
That is
Like,
weird.
really, what is he doing?
Yeah, because it's like if you saw a woman, you'd probably assume like, oh, her kid's playing on the swing set,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if it's a guy, I mean, bro, don't be so shy. Get up there, go swing on them swings. He's just He's just waiting for his turn.
You go up to this creeper guy and you're just like, don't be so shy. Go play.
Like, hey, man,
We can play
let's
on
go
the
down the
merry-go-round
slide.
together.
Come on, dude. The seesaw only works with 2 people. Come on. What are we waiting for? Really, there needs to be jungle gyms for adults.
Yes, except we'd find ways to like sue and get hurt and make a fuss about it.
That's true.
I feel like a lot of adults wouldn't utilize it. They'd be like, I'm too old for that. It's too hard.
Oh my God.
I would.
You see some monkey bars, I'm on them.
I want to go play in the normal ones. It just looks weird, so I don't.
What do you mean?
Like where little kids
Oh,
play.
for sure.
You can do it. Like if I'm watching my niece, I'll go.
Yeah,
that's my excuse. I'm like, yeah,
like, yeah.
she's playing. I could.
Hey, niece, would you like to go to the park? No, you're a little sleepy. Come on. No,
Yeah,
you're
you
not.
go nap. I'll go play.
Can you just be in the vicinity so I'm allowed to legally be on the swing set? Look, my niece, I'm officer. I'm not being weird. She's asleep in the wood chips right there on the towel. See, I'm not being weird.
You have some comedian vibes to you, like comedic relief.
That's
Anybody ever tell you
how I
that?
get through life. Yeah. I get that sometimes. I was compared to Maria Bamford once.
Maria Bamford.
I didn't know who she was.
A comic? Like
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I know. I know who she is now, but it was funny because which that was not a humble brag. I'm not trying to say I'm comparing myself to her. I was at a party and I was still getting to know my friend's boyfriend at the time, and he was like, "Oh, I thought this whole time you were just like ripping her off." And I was like, "I don't even know who that is." Like, wait, who? She just is another like kind of like nervous person. I don't know.
Oh, so you think you're a nervous person?
I don't know if I give that energy off or not. I think
You do, but it gets completely taken over by the fact that you say you say something. Like you don't go like you like
I could.
you just did that. A nervous person would not do that. They'd be too nervous to do that. They'd be like, that's so embarrassing. I cannot do that weird sound in front of people.
I don't know. It's a mix. It's a bunch of feelings and nerves and experiences, and they come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at taking things seriously when I'm supposed to. I was thinking on my way over here because I was like, Ben's probably gonna ask me about art, and I need to talk about art. I remember I got some award from my high school art teacher for, I should remember. You would think this would be like a core memory. I don't know, for a piece I did. It was like in a show that he had selected. And at the end of the year, he gave me a print of one of his pieces. And on the back, he wrote like a really nice letter, but it started off like, Karen, if you stop screwing around so much in class, you might actually accomplish something with your art, or like something along those lines. And I was like, yeah, that kind of sums it up, I guess.
Is just like a nervous angst you have, or do you just kind of start goofing?
I guess I didn't have like the best upbringing, like the most, I don't know, my mom basically raised myself and my brothers mostly alone. We spent every other weekend with my dad, and I just had, without offending anyone in my family that may be listening, I didn't have like the most safe or stable adults around me a lot as a kid, and I think I managed to get through those times by making light of it, learning to be funny or finding the humor and stuff to get through it, not taking anything too seriously.
Yeah.
And just learning to like appease scary adults versus like confronting them head on. I'm like, I can get away from this scary person if I'm just like compliant and nice or say what I need to say, and then, kind of like navigating situations like that. in life. Sorry to get so
No,
depressing.
it's okay. I appreciate the honesty.
But yeah, that's also like my dad had a very intense sense of humor, and I feel like a lot of that rubbed off on me. He would give us a hard time, and then we'd give him a hard time, and it was like a back and forth kind of a thing.
There is something interesting about the hard time sense of humor because I didn't have that with my parents, but I had it with friends, and it I didn't do too well with it because, well, I don't know what women call it, but we call it breaking each other's balls, right?
Yeah.
And I have it to a certain extent, but it's always so obvious that I'm joking,
Yeah.
that I'm like saying it like sarcastic, like a smile. But some of my friends, they're not so good at
They're
that.
very dry.
Very dry, and you're like, I think you're serious, and I think you hate me. Like, you sound pretty malicious right now.
Damn, bro, that hurt.
Yeah, and because their parents were like that,
Yeah.
Mine were like, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, no,
Super duper loving and patient and there and awesome, and my dad would come home with wood, like build stuff,
that's so cool.
and like we're not gonna stop you,
Yeah,
like
go
climb
nuts.
as high as you want and do
Well,
crazy stuff.
you were the baby of the family, so they're like, we've succeeded twice. I mean, whatever.
I was the baby of the family. My parents are a little wild with their like outdoorsiness and town boy-ish. And also another play on why this is that is I had a major brain surgery and I survived it. And usually when infants survive something catastrophic, they get babied. Not necessarily in a bad way, but they certainly get a lot of leniency because the parents are just glad that they're
Right.
alive and functioning and not.
You're like, please don't fall, don't hurt yourself.
I didn't get mental illness or mental, like wasn't intellectually disabled because of it. So they were just glad that I was able to like speak. So they're like, do whatever you got to do. Like, and I was a good kid. I didn't get in trouble.
You're thriving. What the heck? Were you always like gifted musically and doing stuff like that?
Musically, I mean, I started playing guitar at 14, but usually I'm interested in a lot of stuff. I'm endlessly curious. I really do want to know how it all works, like everything. And that on top of the infatuation with how things work comes with an infatuation of purity, finding the best way for it to occur, path of least resistance. What's that hypotenuse? What is a straight line between these 2 points? And that could be for building. It could be for a video game completion. It could be for artwork. It could be for a conversation. It could be for clothes. It could be for building stuff. It could be for the fest. Whatever it is, try my best to do it, but not being afraid if it isn't that, just having the inspiration to want to be that. But I don't really care if it doesn't come out like that. So it's almost like endless curiosity, obsession with purity, almost not like elitist, but a purist. And then wanting to know how it all works. And you put it together and you do it enough, and you're allowed to have confidence fed into from your family and people around you. And a big cauldron of things thrown in. I think it's really important. As a kid, I did a ton of creative stuff, a ton of sports, a ton of camping, I've done inside stuff. So like a little bit of everything. So I got really comfortable in all situations.
Yeah.
Also very public home. Tons of people always coming by. Missionary staying the night. I was constantly kicked out of my room.
That's so
to
funny.
go like sleep in the backyard because a missionary from Mozambique or Australia is sleeping in your bed tonight.
Go sleep on the lawn, son.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
And I'm like, Mom and Dad, why do you think I built a cabin in the backyard? You kicked me out of my bedroom so many times to sleep in a tent or on a couch that I figured I'd just build my own mini apartment to live in.
Yeah.
And yeah, allowing confidence to build. I think too many parents these days say no to their kid. It's like, give your kid some tools and some wood and let them build at 5. Who cares? They're not going to get hurt. Kids can't get hurt.
I know.
Just
It's kind of insane.
Just teach them. They won't get hurt. I promise you. I was using power tools and breaking. I was getting in the crazy stuff, but they let me do it, and I learned and gained a ton of confidence so young that when I got older, I just thought like I could do anything. Like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like I could figure that out and play guitar. Okay, now I want to figure out not just how to play guitar, but how the guitar works on a physical level and how the strings work and how the pickups work with electromagnetism And audio, how do you capture it with these mics? Also, electromagnetism. These things are very fascinating to me. And it just doesn't stop, and it hasn't stopped since. And I found out through working with so many people like yourself, get to have these conversations, and then why not talk to them on a podcast and I get to learn more about humanity and
Yeah.
what women think of the social media? Because I know how I feel about it, but they're catering towards me. I'm a heterosexual man. They're catering towards me. Let's be real. I want to know what other people think of it and everything in between. But yeah, I would say the biggest part of the formula that creates anyone who kind of does a lot of stuff and is very confident with it is from birth, just allowing them to do it, being there for them. I mean, having a steady household is helpful. I got to see they didn't fight, they didn't swear. I saw a lot of love. It was nice.
That's so great.
It was great.
Wow, this is so nice.
It set up
to hear.
unrealistic expectations of this planet that I had to figure out on my own.
Yeah, I guess that's the downside.
It was the downside, but I think it was for the best. But yeah, it's sad when you see all these good things. And then I would meet friends, hang out with people at the old DZ cabin in high school, and I'd hear these awful stories, and then see how they talk with their parents, and we full circle back to like the jabs and breaking balls, and like, what are you gonna do that for? 'Cause I want to. Why? You even any good at it?
Oh my
Maybe
gosh.
someday. What's the point? Like that kind of parent. You're like, oh. Whereas my parents are just like, get lost, go outside.
Yeah.
Can I do that? Yeah, whatever. Go
Whatever
ahead.
you want.
Whatever you want. So I don't handle that well, and I took a lot of that personally, especially in my early 20s when I was like the sober, nerdy kid who like didn't talk to girls, and everyone was just making fun of me, you know?
Who's laughing now? I'm in a basement recording a podcast.
Yeah, now what? I'm in a basement.
I'm
recording.
thriving.
I'm thriving. I am thriving.
Sorry.
It's great.
No, you're doing a great thing. It's
I have
like this
fun.
is one of the coolest things ever.
This right here, this podcast.
This podcast. Just no, DZ and like the community and the art and the music. I mean, it's all so cool.
You know.
You're aware. It's very cool.
Thank you.
It's not nothing, that's for sure.
It's not nothing, and it's I'm very grateful for it and proud of it, but I'm trying to figure out what to do with it and try to use it for something even better. I don't know. It's hard to understand it when you like live it and you just lived it for so long, because I think of all the torture and turmoil that came with it.
God,
You
damn,
know?
yeah. I'm sure it was a lot of like learning on
Yeah.
on fire. Like this is burning down.
Yeah.
I have to fix this.
Yeah. And like, oh man, the police shut it down. Now what do I do? And I don't have enough money for rent. I would like buy all this equipment for the fest and then not make any money off it, then not have enough money for rent. So I'd have to go like sell it or pawn it to take a huge loss just to
Yeah.
have enough money for rent and then have to rebuy. It was brutal. Brutal. One day it'll be in a book. One day I'll tell all the stories. When I have FU money, I'll tell the real stories.
It's coming up.
If I ever do. I don't have it, so I can't tell the real stories because your toes will curl. Yeah.
Well, I'll wait with bated breath. I anxiously await the
Enough about me. More about you and your art.
well, fire away. What would you like to know?
So while you're working on your artwork, I now realize based on everything I learned about you today, which was a lot, we said about your upbringing and how you will act goofy because just to get through some things, uncomfortableness. It seems like that's where a lot of what was probably doodling and expression starts to manifest. It's a way to like get outside of your body and put it onto something else.
Yeah. I would say that's very accurate. Yeah. I think, and probably for a lot of people making anything, it's sort of expressing a feeling or an idea, good or bad, just needing to get it out and, at least in my circumstances, it didn't always feel like expressing those things was encouraged. So, whether you verbalize them or not, they're going to find a way out of you. And, thankfully for me, I found a way to do that wasn't destructive or something. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that's yeah. And also, I don't know, just like mark making has always been so fun. It's just really cool to have a big blank piece of paper and then messing it up.
Just drawing all of it.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your favorite form of art? Because you do a lot of analog stuff and digital
yeah.
crossover.
I honestly really love sculpture.
Sculpture. I didn't know this.
I did a lot of making stuff out of clay, like what's it called, polymer clay, or Sculpey or whatever it's called.
Sculpey.
That's like the brand name, Sculpey. But yeah, my grandma, like similarly to you, the weekends that I was with my dad, we would go out to my grandma's house, and she didn't have like really any modern toys. It was all just like, I'm assuming my dad and like his siblings' toys, like board games from like the 60s and stuff in the basement, and like old Barbies and, like hand-me-downs from my cousins and stuff, just like a hodgepodge of like toys and games that I don't even know what decade they're from. But yeah, so a lot of my like activities at my grandma's house were old school like that.
Chutes and ladders.
Literally,
Trouble.
yeah.
Monopoly.
Yep. Yeah, there was
Yahtzee.
there was also this one that I don't even remember the name of the game, but you unfolded it and it was like a racetrack, and the cars were like metal, like maybe made of lead. I don't know. Or tin, probably.
Huh.
And
The old version of life. It's a messed up game.
I think-
Candyland.
Yeah, I don't even know how you, because the wheels on the cars didn't move. So I think it was like you roll dice and you like move it. I don't know.
There's a lot of games like that because there's so many board games now.
I know.
Did you ever play? Did she have Kerplunk? Kerplunk?
Oh yeah, Kerplunk. What's the monkey one? Barrel of Monkeys.
Barrel Monkeys. Dominoes. Obviously.
Those marble tubes.
Mm-hmm. I used to love those.
I could have guessed. I don't know why.
You don't even want to know about my Connects Lego abilities.
I was about to say Connects. My older brother, who's a mechanical engineer, loved Connects and loved marble tubes. Loved Legos.
I'm jealous of your brother.
And he would build cool shit, and I would break it by accident and then get in trouble.
You were that kid. You were how much older?
I'm the middle child.
How much older was he?
Oh, I get confused because half the year we're only a year apart, but the other half were
When's
2
his
years
birthday?
apart. February 25th, 1990, and I'm September 22nd, 91.
Okay.
So it's like a weird, almost 2 years, but not really.
Yeah, so he's like a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and 9 months.
Didn't
8 months
waste no
older.
time.
Yeah. No. So you were the kid who broke this stuff. You see, I was the youngest, and when I say love to build, my obsession with putting things together and making it happen started quite young. And man, Connects and Legos, I'm not joking. I killed it.
Yeah.
I got awards. I was in the magazine.
That's insane.
Yeah. I built a scale model of Wrigley Field with no instructions.
What?
Yeah.
What? Do you
It
have
was
a
huge.
picture
I
of
have
this?
pictures. Yeah, all
Oh
my room. I have a bunch of
gosh.
stuff. My favorite award. I've received some awards and certificates in life. My favorite though is from the Creative Connects. It's a certificate of imagination that says if you can dream it or if you can imagine it, you can build it. And I have used that motto, that slogan, motto, that motto. I was like, I'm trying to think of the word. That motto in my head for everything, for
Yeah.
every year, every DZ Fest, every house show, every album. Like I can think of it, therefore it can happen because I'm seeing it here.
Yeah.
And like I have to find a way to take it out of here and put it into the earth. And it's true. It's always worked. It's never not worked. So for those listening that don't know how to manifest things, just imagine it and think of every piece of material it takes to make that happen, from something small to large. But Lincoln Logs, Connects, Erector Set, Legos. I loved Connects the most because you can make the biggest structures.
Yeah. And they were kind of durable and,
Oh my
because
God.
they're
I made
plastic.
chairs.
Like they
I
were
made
flexible.
chairs that people would sit on out of Connects. I made a TV entertainment system out of Connects.
That's like some sci-fi shit.
I started making everything because I
Like-
got bored with the instructions. I mastered them and I started to remember the instructions. And then I was such a hustler. I would bet kids like candy that I could build the instructions faster, or like the set without them fast. And they didn't know that I would like study them. And sure enough, I'd build that Ferris wheel in like 40 minutes. And
That's your party trick. I was thinking of the Ferris wheel the whole time. We had that.
Well,
we
they
had
two.
that one.
The one that you can put solar power panel on, which I loved. It came with that's how cool Connects were for kids. You can use a solar power panel and power your toys with no electricity. It's awesome. Great invention.
Yeah, cool
Might have
toy.
been one of the coolest toys ever made with the best, healthiest impacts on kids. Because you can just create anything you want.
Really simple
So simple.
pieces too.
Just
and
basic
you could do
pieces.
so much stuff with them.
And they are all following the simple beginning formula of all architectural and civil engineering of hypotenuse, right angle, right angle. Each piece is the hypotenuse of the next color. And you can just build massive structures, triangles on triangles everywhere. Super cool.
It's the sturdiest shape.
It sure is. Anyway, you're like, nerd. Nerd.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that. I
When
think
people
it's-
bring up Connects, I just get excited because I'm like, this is
Connects?
such a cool
Oh,
toy. I
jeez.
kept all mine too. They're in my closet.
Well, what? Wait, why haven't you made anything?
Where am I going to put it?
I feel like you could make
you were just earlier like, you got a lot of stuff.
You do, but
Where are you supposed to put it?
But your Connects are like a thing you could turn into a functional thing.
You could, but then you're that 34-year-old man with no kids that has a bunch of plastic toys around. You see what I'm saying? It looks way better to have gear than they have plastic
I
toys around.
guess.
So I'm saving them. I have them in a bin. I have all my instructions. I have everything sealed, like all my tires and special pieces and motors, for if I have a kid to give it to them, or if I don't, I'll give it to my niece and nephew.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's like every set ever made. It's like hundreds of thousands of pieces.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was awesome. Great time.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
But I eventually, when I first saw Mythbusters in like 2003, when it first came out, I saw it at a friend's house. I didn't have cable. And I saw how they would scale model stuff 1st and then do it. And I was like, I could scale model things with the Connects and then go build them outside. So I started doing that. And that was cool when I figured out you could scale model things.
That's impressive.
You're like,
I'm like, I would make like a pinwheel on a stick. And if it spun,
You're like, I would take one piece and a lighter and see how long it took this hard molded plastic to melt. And
Yeah.
that's what I would do.
and then I'd sniff the fumes. No.
Were you a really awkward little kid?
I don't think so. No. I was actually really outgoing as a kid.
What
As a
happened?
little kid. I think life. Life hit me hard as a kid. No, I don't know. I think I noticed like you know, maybe expressing yourself isn't always encouraged, or like it gets you in trouble or whatever. So learning to not do that. And then also on top of that, noticing that like even if I had like, as an adult, I can look back and be like, that adult in my life was not acting like an adult. Like they had something going on, like maybe a mental illness or whatever. Like they weren't getting the help they needed and they were taking it out on me. But even as a kid, I could like tell like, oh, they don't have like the capacity for my bullshit, or like I don't want to put my crap on top of what they're already dealing with, so I'm just not gonna, So I was super outgoing. I feel like I've become more outgoing actually in the last, like kind of forcibly in the last like 2 years, just with like lockdown and everything. I was like, I need to, once things are more open again, I need to start like saying yes to things and like being social and like going out of my comfort zone. Hello,
Like this
I'm on a
podcast.
podcast. Ugh.
Well,
But
I love when women make the woman voice when they are women. It's like
when they're womaning,
when they're womaning, it's like this inception of women. I know it's funny to
yeah,
me.
it compounds and you become even more woman. It's insane. It's a secret. Yeah, like, yeah, men have the opposite.
Yeah.
Become manninging.
Like mansplaining.
Never mind. No.
Lost.
No. Forget it. Never mind. I am not making sense. It makes sense to me. It's fine. English.
Uh,
Yeah.
so what else is new in life?
You know, not much.
Talk about your music. How long have you been playing bass for?
I've been playing bass. Yeah, I started in middle school, actually, but I didn't really keep up with it. I played bass for maybe like a year in middle school, and I still have that bass, and I had that amp until I like finally replaced it with an actual adult amp. But adult amp. It's a weird thing to say, but
Professional amp.
yeah, like not a practice amp. But yeah, and then in college, Sam wanted to jam with people, and I was like, well, I have my bass. And, you know, I can try and figure this out. And, you know, you kind of don't forget how. It's not very hard to play. I mean, kids, if you're listening, it's not hard. If I can do it, you definitely can.
Well, there's also many like styles and variations
Oh,
of playing
definitely.
bass. You know, if
Yeah.
you're trying to play some classical, you know, jazz, funk, blues.
People will argue with me and say that it is hard. And I will agree, if you struggle with rhythm in general, it will probably be difficult. With guitar or just like not playing a rhythm instrument, you can kind of, you know, do your own thing, and the rhythm section will hold it down, and you get to spiral off and go crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, so I started when I was 14 middle school. I was like 12. Started when I was 12, learned how, and then was like, cool, okay, I have that figured out. And then just like, there weren't any bands or anything in my hometown as
What
a
neighborhood
kid.
again? Or
I
what-
grew up in Libertyville.
Right.
Yeah. At least none that I knew of. There was, you know, like school band, but I would then have to play a upright bass, and those are large, and I didn't want to do that.
What high school was that?
Libertyville High School,
Oh, well,
LHS.
Well, you know, how far is that? It's about O'Hare Airport, right?
It's a bit north of O'Hare, and I'm thinking of a map.
Like if you were to take 294 up to it, the Interstate 294,
I usually take 94 all the way
94 up to it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty close to Wisconsin. But yeah, it's been cool. It was cool growing up there.
And then what brought you to Chicago was Columbia.
Yeah.
What did you want to go anywhere else? Or was just
No,
Columbia?
actually, I really wanted to live in Chicago. I hadn't even really spent a lot of time here besides like going to concerts, but I just didn't feel, you know, it's sort of like a conservative-ish place. I don't know what it's like anymore, but at least when I was growing up, it was like seemingly a conservative little suburb, you know, really charming in a lot of ways, but ultimately like not the right fit for me, and very expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, went to Columbia and got the heck out. Took my mom's minivan and didn't look back. And
Wow,
then
so
she
poetic.
moved. So now I have no reason to go back, and that does kind of bum me out.
Oh, yeah. I sadly, I have very little reason to go back to Hit Girls. Like, there's a couple houses I go to because of being there forever.
Right.
But now that it's not like the family home, and I have like no family home to go to, it bums me out, and it annoys me when people are like, "Yeah, it was hard for me to move out too." It's like, no, you got to go back to your family house whenever
Yeah.
you wanted to. Don't compare it. Don't you ever compare it.
Yeah, you got.
Also, this house was built by my family, so it's
Yeah,
extra
that's-
difficult.
Yeah, they better not, or they're gonna see Mad Ben.
Don't.
You're gonna throw
Now
some
you're
punches.
making. Now you're making.
sorry.
Don't get me mad.
Just kidding.
I'm like the Hulk. I'm always mad. That's my secret.
Well, you have everyone fooled. You seem very happy all the time.
You'd have to be threatening like my life or my friends' lives or something terrible for me to get mad. Otherwise, I don't know why people get mad.
Yeah.
I don't know why people want to like chest up and fight and like cause. I don't get it. I don't get comparing yourself. I don't get wanting to one up someone or have resentment. There's no room for that. This life, as we've been talking about, the major theme of this podcast has been life is hard and confusing and difficult. Why would you want to add to it? Why would you want to add all these issues of being like, God, that Karen, I hate how blonde her hair is. Oh my God.
Stupid her face
It
is.
must be her Northwestern European descent blood. It must be.
Those bastards. Yeah. No, I feel the same way. It's weird how some people, like, their instinct is to react, like, get angry about things. And for other people, it's not. And I don't know. I know it all, like, boils down to upbringing and how you were raised and how blah, blah, blah.
Let's skip over this not important
It's
stuff.
all, like, the, you know.
It's truly helpful if you have that, you know.
Yeah.
My mom is like a Zen Buddhist master, and she's just glass half full. It could always be harder. Why are you mad? That's not a big deal. Calm down,
Yeah.
chill out, take a chill pill. Like, life's hard. Like, you can either literally, like, you can be mad at everything, or you can realize you can't control or fix everything. And
Yeah.
do you I truly believe if you have your own path and you're having fun and you enjoy something you do, you probably will have a hard time being jealous and envious of other people because you're doing your own thing.
Right.
Nothing to compare it to. I have nothing to compare what I'm doing to anyone. So, like, I don't, why should I get upset at what people are doing, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else really doing this. And even if, I mean, at least in Chicago, I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Even in what you're doing, I don't know anybody who's doing exactly your kind of artwork while you have your kind of life with your job and your band with your music and your shows you've played. You put it all together and it's like you're also doing your own thing. It might be similar or close to others, but it's not the exact same thing. You know, it just isn't.
I feel that way as well. And I don't know if I always felt that way, but yeah, I mean, everybody has a different perspective. And, it, you know, even if you're copying something, if you're like trying to copy something, it's going to be different because you're doing it and your life experiences behind it. And it's just going to end up different, you know, whether you want it to or not. Yeah. That's some advice for you, kids. Appreciate that you're different and the art that you're making is going to be different, and you can like try and copy and mimic your, you know, idols all you want. But ultimately the end result is going to be a little different, and you might at first like hate that or resent that, but the sooner you can learn to like appreciate those things about you, the better, because other people are going to see what you're doing and think it's very cool and be inspired by it. And yeah, I've always thought that was kind of an interesting thing about making music and art also is, at least for me, I don't feel like you necessarily have a ton of control over how your art looks, like the style of art that you do, unless you're going out of your way to like, you know, deliberately learn to do something in a specific style. Yeah, you just kind of, at least for me, it's like, oh, this is just like how I draw. Like, this is just what it looks like, whether I like it or not. And like, this is what my voice sounds like, whether I like it or not. And like, the music that I end up making sounds this way, whether I like it or not. I don't know. Like, if I don't know, I don't set out to make stuff in a certain style usually. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised by the end result a lot of the time.
Really?
Yeah. But it makes it very difficult to be objective about it and be like, is this even good? Like, I cannot tell. I don't know. Like, when people are like, what genre is your band? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know what we sound like. I don't know what the songs sound like.
Well, do you ever compare them to other sounds to kind of get a rough estimate of like if you can do like a crossover genre? Like, okay, we do have a tone like this, and that, so therefore you could deduce that it's this, and that.
It's hard because I feel like calling something punk is not, people are not going to, that's not going to be what people imagine in their minds. That is not the right word.
No.
Right? But that's technically like what it would be.
Pop,
Or
punk, alternative, rock, indie dash. Like, there's a little bit, like a splash of indie. Like, if you're doing anything DIY now with DIY technology of this era, it almost always has to have a dash of indie in it. Because you're like literally doing it in an independent way, so it comes with certain tones and sounds.
Quite literally indie, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say like you could say something like that, and then preface it with, but there's like some nuance within it because it's modern music. So like those might be some foundations, but the structure and the roof's going to look different. That's just like the foundation.
Yeah,
That's all you can really do.
That's a good way of putting it, for sure.
It's the only thing you can do. But when it comes to, I don't know enough about like drawing and painting and mixed media and or visual arts to like know how to categorize. I just don't have enough of that skill set and history like I do with music.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, if somebody is like, what kind of art do you make? It's like, and I've been asked that so many times, and I don't know how to answer it. I do illustration, and I do a lot of work with like local bands.
How many bands have you worked with?
I don't know. I've never counted. That's
good amount, right?
A good amount, yeah. I
20.
Yeah, I mean, musicians and bands are like some of my favorite people to collaborate with, just because I like working with other artists. And I mean, I know how hard it is to be in a band and how thankless it can be at times. I mean, of the arts that I'm involved in, music is like definitely the most like thankless, I would say, and the least, like, bears the least fruit. Like, you spend so much money to create a thing, and it takes forever to like have that end result. And at the end of it, you hope enough people will buy it so that you can pay for recording and blah, 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 blah. And you usually can't. Not for a long time.
You usually can't. Like, you got vinyl for XYZ.
Yes.
XYZ. Band so nice they named it twice.
That's right.
That's what they call us. And vinyl, and then recorded at Jam Deck with Doug.
That's right. Yeah, I did.
Good old Dougie. I know Doug well. And what was that like? What's it like working with Doug? It was fun?
Doug's great because I think he doesn't have to weigh in or give input or like recommend things. I don't think. I don't believe that's what engineers are like. That's not their job. They're not.
It's when you get into producer territory.
Exactly.
And some just stay off of it.
Right.
Some little hints, and then some lean into it.
Right. I feel like, and maybe it probably depends on the band for him and his relationship with them. But I've always appreciated that he is really honest and has great feedback and suggestions and, isn't afraid to be like, like point out issues or, like, hey, I think another take could be better, or like switch these lyrics around, or, maybe try, a different drum beat or whatever. So yeah, Doug's really great. He's super professional, super funny, does good work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no complaints. 10 out of
Yeah,
10.
10 out of
Go
10.
to Jam Deck.
Go to Jam Deck.
Get your record recorded with Doug.
I love it. That's cool. It's a cool spot. Been there
Yeah.
a bunch of times.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how many
Thanks.
albums have you made between all your bands?
I mean, I guess 2.
2 albums?
Technically. I mean, Pylons there's 2, but the first one is just very rough and it wasn't done the best. No hate or shade.
That's
I
usually
think-
that's usually the first of like everything's done. My first stuff was terrible.
It's just yeah,
It's like
just
you're learning. Everyone's learning.
it's not a demo, but it kind of sounds like a bunch of demos.
How old were you when you made that one?
22 or 3.
Everyone's young, working
Yeah.
with young people.
I had just started playing bass again, and I was like pretty afraid to be heard. I was like, I'm going to turn the volume down.
Why did you want to record if you were kind of sloppy with it? You just didn't care or didn't know any better?
We just had nothing. Like, I think we all wanted to like start playing shows, and we had nothing to show people. So we were like, let's just record some stuff, and so we have anything for people to listen to, so they can be like, okay, they know sort of how to play their instruments. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
You can be on the bill or whatever. At the Mutiny. Rest in peace.
I was gonna say I missed the Mutiny. Rest in peace.
I don't.
Oh, what happened there? Now you gotta tell us.
Oh, nothing. No.
Tell us
Just-
your worst experiences playing
Oh
music
my God.
in Chicago.
No. I cannot.
I
Usually,
cannot.
honestly, it's usually just like the sound is like really fucked up, or like the sound guy doesn't show up and like it delays everything, or
This is more at like the hole in the wall places.
yeah,
Yeah, more
just
likely.
the tinier spots where it's like very low stakes and it's like your mom is in the audience and you're like, okay, well, Mom, we might play tonight. If not, sorry for driving down here, braving the traffic. Maybe next time.
Mutiny, was that the one on Western and Fullerton, kind of?
To be honest, I don't
By
remember.
Quenchers, across the street from Quenchers?
I think it. Man, Quenchers was
Or was
great.
it Martyrs?
I don't remember. It's like this elusive place in my mind that didn't really exist. It's like I don't know where geographically in the city it was, but I know it existed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was there. What about DIY shows? Do you play a lot of those?
Some, not a ton.
Used
There's
to
not
more.
a lot of DIY spaces around, right?
I think what
days?
happened is you and I got older.
Yep. Well, there we go.
Because they tend to be for 18 to 25-year-olds, if
I
you
have
didn't know. And we're not that age
True.
no more.
I have a friend that runs a DIY space that's really cool. But I haven't played there.
What's it called?
It's called Empty Bliss. Vanessa, what up? She's the best.
Vanessa.
She's in a band called Crowning,
I wonder if I know.
and she's also an amazing photographer and an amazing illustrator as well, though she doesn't draw as much these days. She takes beautiful photos and is hilarious.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, she's great.
What's the name of the place?
Empty Bliss.
Empty Bliss.
It's a lot of like hardcore bands, screamo.
Is she our age, your age?
Yeah, I went
Okay.
to college with her.
It's still possible. It's just less likely the older you get to do that.
Yeah.
Time, money, and risk. You start to be like, why am I trashing my
That's
house?
so true.
Like I
Yeah.
own a house now. Like my old house got destroyed. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Our Halloween shows, 200 people would come. It'd be nuts. Crazy. And they wrecked my home. And I could never keep it nice. I
Yeah.
tried and tried and tried, and it like looked like DZ Records, but like it had a look to it. And I
You're just
couldn't.
like begging people, please don't like pee on the stairwell.
I
like,
mean, I had to get crafty. I would hide towels and like cleaning supplies in all these nooks and crannies, like everywhere. So when a beer spilt there, it's like boom, towel out of nowhere. Like where'd you get the towel from? It's like hidden because I knew someone was gonna spill right there. Boom, this that garbage. Like couldn't participate, couldn't smoke, couldn't drink, nothing. You had to be on it, on it, on it. It wasn't it was fun because I like to do things, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like the fun everyone else was having. I was
No,
not
yeah.
having like a cool, chill night. Yeah.
When's the last time you had a cool, chill night?
When I go camping.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to.
Do you make time to like camp?
I'm gonna go in October. Try to go to Wisconsin up north. I like to camp, but I probably only go like once a year. Road trips. I like to road trip because I could just be peaceful in the car. Just
Yeah.
set that cruise control, put on some good music, and
I like
disappear.
driving.
Yeah,
I think it's
therapeutic.
it's chill. Yeah.
It's
You kind of
chill.
zone out, not crash.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time. Love it.
Yeah, like in the desert.
Oh my
Full
God. Yeah.
circle.
Well,
Were you
things are.
doing drugs or something? What were you?
I was just very tired.
Okay.
Like I believe we just we only stopped one time, and then otherwise we were just like, thank you, driving straight through, and the other person driving it was their turn to rest. So, and I think, it was like a long straight road, and it's just sort of monotonous, and like I was
a
just
little
like being
mesmerizing,
kind
yeah.
of lulled off a little bit. Like I would have issues in this social studies class, actually, where I would almost fall asleep every day. And it was like this uncontrollable thing. Like my eyes would get heavy and I would be so like almost hypnotized by like, they would turn the lights off. The overhead was turned on.
Oh, the worst is the lights off.
Yeah.
You do that, you're in trouble.
And he was like this older guy, like very grandfatherly, calming. And it was just like, yeah, it was just
Just high
no
school?
chance. Yeah, high school.
But high school is hard anyway because, like, what time are you going to
It was
bed?
also
What time are you going to sleep? What time are you waking up,
100%. Yeah,
It's a hot mess.
And it was also right after lunch.
Sometimes it's not fair how the periods were set up, depending on, like,
No.
if you have gym. When I had gym first period, I was pissed. I'm like, I'm going to be sweaty the whole day. I sweat
Right.
a lot. I'm a hairy dude.
The swim unit, nightmare.
Oh,
My hair's going to be wet all day and smell like chlorine.
that was so
I quit.
awkward. Though I did not like the swim. I love swimming. I love pools. But that was awkward.
Horrible.
When you're a teenage boy.
I'm
Just went through
sure.
puberty, and now you got to jump in pools with all these ladies.
No, spank you.
Not a smart idea, school system. What do you think's going to happen? It's going to be awkward.
Everyone's going to swim around and it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be real weird and awkward.
Yeah, it's terrible.
The worst were the girls. Like, they would put on, like, all these extra clothes because they didn't want to show their bodies, and it's like, I get
Yeah.
it. Like, this is just weird. Like, this is awkward. Like, no one wants to
You're
do
making
this.
it worse.
Yeah, you're
It's like in olden times when you would see an ankle, like, and get excited. Just be in your suit, okay? Normalize it. Yeah. Horrible. High school was a time,
I don't really think about it too much.
That's good.
Do you?
You've moved on. No, I don't actually. I do sometimes still have like the random nightmare of like,
Speech?
no, it's usually like a test or something that I didn't study for.
That was every test.
Yeah.
I literally was just delusional, and I was like, I'll pass this.
I
I'll
read
just
half
guess.
a chapter. Yeah.
I would run into them like, I'll wing it. I'll use context clues. Oh, it didn't work out well.
Oh my God. Yeah. Same. I was so scatterbrained in high school. I would like lose my study guides even if I like wanted to do well, and I did. I just would misplace my shit. And so it would be like the night before a test. I was convinced there was a ghost in my house playing tricks on me because
Do you believe in ghosts?
I mean, I haven't personally, unfortunately. I mean, I'm very scared of paranormal stuff, but I'm also fascinated by it. But no, I've never seen anything, and I think it's partially because I'm so scared of it that I'm like, I close my third eye completely. I'm like, I don't want to see, because if I see something, I will lose my fucking mind. Like, I will go insane.
Wait. So I finished the story, and then I want to go back to this ghost.
Okay,
thing.
sorry. Oh yeah, I thought there was a ghost in my mom's condo because I had to study for a Spanish final, and I just had my Spanish textbook, and I put it down, and it like vanished. And was so stressed out. I was like crying, trying to find it all night, and it ended up like under my mom's bed somehow. I don't know. And also, all the cupboards would get left open, and I would get in trouble for it. And I would be like, I think it's a ghost, you guys. It wasn't me, I swear. And I was so.
Sure wasn't your brothers?
It was me. It was me, Ben.
Oh, it was you?
It was me.
Why were you saying?
I didn't know it was me.
This makes sense. I won't call this person out, but I have had a roommate that, because of the way their brain works, they just like leave
You're like doing a
cabinets
thing.
and drawers open, and they have no idea. Like, I'm talking like, you go in a bathroom and all the mirror, like everything's open. I'm like, was
Cabinets.
the Exorcist here? What is going on?
Cabinets was a huge thing.
Cabinets, mirrors, anything just open up all the time.
Forget to close them.
So you must have that too.
It's still a thing.
Anxiety. It's an anxiety-based thing,
I think it's an attention deficit thing, but
which is usually linked to it.
oh, well, cool. I'm getting all the diagnoses today.
I am a therapist, by the way.
I don't even know if you're joking.
I'm not.
I could believe it. I was like, wait. Shit.
Wait, what?
Oh my God.
This whole
Wait,
time?
Karen, this is an intervention. Everybody come out. It's okay.
Behind all this crap inside the dryer.
My whole family. Jesus.
So you believe in ghosts, but you've never seen them.
Well, do I believe in ghosts? I feel like I would have had a real tangible experience at this point
I agree.
if there were ghosts. You know?
Do you get scared of anything like that?
I do. Oh my God. I
But
always.
what's your rationale behind it? Like, what would happen? Who's been hurt by a ghost?
I've seen The Exorcist. Okay, I know
That's
people
a movie.
get.
It's not a documentary.
Isn't it based on a true story?
I mean,
I know. Okay, I'm kind of joking around, but I don't know. I just I love horror movies.
what's your favorite?
The Shining, probably.
Damn, that's great. Shining is great.
Also,
I love The Shining.
Alien. That's definitely
Alien.
a horror movie in my book.
Halloween.
I just watched Talk to Me. Very good.
Good. I just saw that too. I saw it July when it came out. Loved
Nice.
it.
Yeah,
Thought it was great.
So pleasantly surprised.
What
like-
about the new Exorcist coming out?
I'll see it. I don't really know. I don't really know why it's being remade or.
I don't think it's remade. I think it's a sequel. It's the woman in it is the woman from the original.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, that's gonna be so scary. I will see that.
So that's better than a remake.
Yeah.
Do they need to make it? I don't know, but at least it's not like just remaking it. Yeah.
I really like
The Thing? You like The Thing?
The Thing is great. Yeah, it's one of my faves.
So it sounds like 1977 to like 1983 is
but
all those movies we just named are all that
I
time.
also really Hereditary is probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen.
Hereditary
and
is good.
just an amazing story. I thought it was just a really cool story. You know, all of Ari Aster's movies I've really enjoyed so far. Beau was Afraid was really good.
Midsummer was
Slapped.
disturbing.
So good. So
It's-
fucked up.
That made the biggest mistake of watching that movie after smoking like this fat joint to myself.
No.
And then I was like, I'll put this movie on.
This looks cute.
And
Flowers.
this looks sweet. It's like Kirby. And I put it on, and so it was messed up, especially the beginning with the suicide, the carbon monoxide
Oh my
poisoning.
God, so disturbing.
But what made that more disturbing is that's how my uncle died. So like that story's been in my mind my whole life, and I never had to visualize it that much before. And then I saw that, and I had to visualize how he was probably found. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that messed me. And I'm stoned as stoned can
That's
be.
so terrible.
It was I was messed up for the rest of that movie. It really, really, really messed with my head.
That is so fucked up. Yeah, being
And
high at
then-
the wrong time will mess up a.
Something so dark. It was one of the most disturbing parts of anything I've ever seen in my life.
Getting a bad text when you're high
Oh.
is the worst.
Or a bad email.
Just a bad, an
Anything.
unexpected bad anything. It's just your whole stomach drops through the earth below you. traveling through the crust and the core and the other layers.
The mantle.
The mantle.
You skipped the mantle.
I did. I'm sorry. The sedimentary rock, the magma. What else we got
You
down
really,
there?
really enjoyed elementary school.
Oh my God. Cool. Yes, all of my best memories.
And then the outer core, and then the inner core,
And
which
then
is iron and it's magnetized.
And then it busts through in reverse when
Oh
it comes out the other
my
side.
God.
But yeah, anyway, that's what happens when you get a bad text when you're high.
Do you smoke weed often?
No.
At all?
Not really. Like
You have?
I have, yeah, like many times. It's so 50-50. Like it's either makes me really sleepy and it's great, or I can't stop thinking about like my body and like what it's doing.
Sounds like you took mushrooms.
I don't know.
Have you done that before?
No, I am interested, but I'm also like knowing how weed affects me sometimes. I am a little nervous, but I know it's pretty different though.
It's pretty different. It would be like, yeah, you can't really compare it to anything. It's just different.
Yeah.
Like I would say they're adopted like third cousins.
Oh shit, that's pretty different.
Yeah, they still like, hey, I know you. I see you at the family parties, but like they're not the same.
Do you prefer one over the other?
They're just so different. Like I could smoke weed. I don't do this, but I could smoke weed every night, and I don't think it would change much of my life or anything, really. Especially after the day's deeds are done. You could not take mushrooms every night. That would be, I'm talking real doses. You could probably microdose, but taking like copious amounts, that would probably be a bad idea. I would not recommend doing that every night. Some people, I think a good dose of something like psilocybin mushrooms, which is different for everyone, and I'd recommend doing them when you get older. Like you're already past the sweet spot after the brain's developed. No, like do them like the negative sweet spot. You're in the sweet spot.
Okay, cool.
I said that poorly.
Don't do them.
You're in a good spot because you already got past adolescence, brain development, major milestones, awkwardness of being 21.
Yeah.
Your brain and body is fully developed. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And then from there, I think, I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but I think it probably would behoove everyone by the time they're in their 30s and 40s to try it at least once.
Yeah.
Especially in a safe situation. Be with people you trust, not too many people, like one or two people you really trust that won't make fun of you, won't film it, dumb stuff like that. Set up the night, put on music you love, have food ready you love, enjoy the visuals that you love, and then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be overwhelming. You might cry. You might throw up because it is a poison. You might not. I've never thrown up, but I have gotten stomach aches and then they go away.
Sounds like
I've loved it though. I've had zero bad experiences and I've tried different doses of it at least 25 times at this point. And then I've done like an eighth at least like 5 or 6 times, maybe more. I've had nothing but amazing times.
That's great.
The hardest I've laughed, the most I've cried. I've seen things I didn't know were possible. Every layer of every texture of every line on this table just comes out of it. You could talk to that scratch and it'll tell you why that happened. Like it's crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's fun.
It sounds pretty life-changing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I've heard it can help with like mental health stuff, depression, anxiety, that kind of thing. I've heard it helps people who like are terminally ill sometimes, like accept death.
Yeah.
Like all kinds of crazy stuff.
You can greet death, stare it in the eyes. I think they just made it legal, complete legal in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, cool.
Like not just decriminalized, like I'm pretty sure you can go buy it.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So if you ever, because sometimes that paranoia messes with people, knowing that it's like the lamest felony ever.
Yeah.
It's when you're on it, every time I'm on it, I just stare out the window. I'm like, how is this a felony? How is looking at an ant on the ceiling, which I was looking at, wondering why we kill them. How is this felony?
So what the fuck?
It's goofy.
It seems like
You're talking to ants and petting leaves on plants. Like, this is so stupid.
It seems like a generally like innocent drug,
It's not 100% innocent because there are people that have had some issues. That's why I said you're at a good age. I wouldn't recommend an 18-year-old taking it because if they are susceptible to schizophrenia, bipolar, or mental breakdowns, this might not help.
Right.
So I recommend you just wait until you get past when those things tend to happen. By your age, 99% of that stuff's you're not going to get it. I'd say it's significantly safer than any of the pharmaceuticals, any alcohol, cigarettes over time. Marijuana might be the only other safer one than psilocybin.
Yeah, that's...
But it's just not comparable because you straight up trip on mushrooms. Like you see things that are there, but the story, like say you were looking at this, all of this could be 3D and would just start coming off, and you would see the actual frequency of that, the headphones, and you would see them vibrating, creating that, and like it would almost look like electricity, and you would see all the like different combinations of colors that came together to create that green. But then what gets weirder is the light bouncing off the plastic that we could both see. It gets weird. And you would start probably looking into portals. Like, it's bizarre. I can't even, like...
Other dimensions.
It's hard to explain, but
yeah.
What I think happens, what I believe the research and test studies show, is it's essentially everything you see and feel is in this certain consciousness that you have. And it's on a normal dimension as plane. And all that's happening with LSD, psilocybin, peyote, ayahuasca, those types of things, salvia, is all of those neurochemicals in your brain get a little mixed and other doorways and pathways start opening up and it meanders. And now what you're seeing and how all of your senses are perceiving that start to just completely change.
That's so cool.
So it's like, it's really, nothing's happening. Anyone who's sober looking at you, you're just looking at, say you were sober, I'm just like staring at like, and nothing's happening. But to me, it's all messed up. Like nothing is exactly where it once was.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. I don't know. One time I was swimming in Lake Michigan on mushrooms, and I felt like I was like at a contact on an eyeball. Like I felt the tides of the moon pulling me, and I was like hovering on the earth, and I could feel Jupiter and like the moon. I could feel them pulling. It was weird.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know what they were. I just felt it.
It's so strange. I don't know. And then it's like, are these sensations that are actually happening, or?
I don't think they're actually happening, but is anything actually happening except for how you decipher in your brain?
True.
You know.
Life is what you make it.
What time is it? Don't guess. I mean, guess.
You want me to guess?
Guess. Guess how long we've been talking. Wait.
8? 7:30. What? What?
It's been 3 hours. It's 9:40.
Are you kidding?
No. How long were you?
Holy shit.
Meaning
I thought it was like
here?
1 hour.
You're like 7:30. That would have been.
I was like, oh, 7:30.
That would have been 50 minutes.
Yeah.
If it was 7:30.
I don't know.
No, it's been 3 hours.
That's insane.
Isn't that weird?
Whoa.
We can end soon. We can end. It's been 3 hours.
Jeez.
I haven't done 3 in a while.
That's a long time.
We could talk for a while. It's good.
Covered a lot of bases.
Yeah, anybody listening is probably like, they didn't finish that story, that subject, that conversation.
It's fine. No, this was a good, I mean, I've never done a podcast, so I don't know. Hopefully I can learn from this experience, and I'll work on my podcast talking and my facial expressions and whatever else. Oh, being tough. I have some things.
Oh my goodness. You're tough. You're tough. You're punk rock. You're in a punk rock band, right?
I'm tough.
You don't come off as tough.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe you should get a face
That's
tattoo.
why I'm getting tattoos. Like the tattoos
Do you have
help.
any?
I have, yeah.
You have a couple?
I've got some.
That looks like the one on your record.
I know. I got it after the record.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
this is a fun milestone. I'll just...
A plant, a scorpion.
Plants. I have to cool it with the plants. Plants are beautiful, but I was like, I don't want to be like a plant lady, you know? So more animal and arachnid representation.
So insects don't scare you?
Okay, I think spiders specifically are really cool when they don't like surprise me. I have for some reason, this is very common. When I'm falling asleep, if I'm like dozing off, I'll sometimes like hallucinate like bugs, and it's very real. I'll see like the most recent time it happened, enormous spider on my wall, like tarantula, crawling all over the place. And I was freaking out, and I was like, Sam, there's a fucking and I'm like wide awake, and I'm like seeing it. And then he's like, no, there's not. And then it like kind of vanished. So I don't know. They scare me when they startle me. And more than one time, I have been like falling asleep in bed, and a spider like literally is lowering over my face. I don't know why this has to have happened in my life more than even one time. Like that seems like such a bizarre thing to happen ever.
It just lowers in front of your
Yeah,
face.
like in front of my face, or like literally it's going to land on my face if I don't move. Like what the fuck? I don't know.
Well, at least where we live, most of them are,
Yeah.
all of them really are harmless.
Not gonna, yeah.
We don't really have any poisonous stuff around here. People like to say so, but I'm like, I've been in the thick of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and
So
I
I don't
think
know.
the ones that are not like, they're not trying to bite you, you know?
Yeah.
If you're chasing them and trying to step on them and attacking their, like, nest, maybe, but...
I haven't seen a brown recluse or a black widow in this area. I think maybe in southern Illinois they might exist, but I think it's too cold up here.
I've never seen them in my life.
Yeah, and all the crawl spaces and forests I've been in, and I still haven't seen them. I'm like, I'm telling you, I don't think they're around here.
I don't think they exist.
No, we don't have scorpions.
No scorpions, no ghosts.
No poisonous snakes. No scorpions, no ghosts. In fact, 0 ghosts. So you believe in them, but you haven't seen them. They scare you, but you're
Yeah,
not that afraid of them.
Well, my eyes play tricks on me all
What
the time.
are they if you do believe in them?
See, that's
Are
the
you
thing.
spiritual? Get into that world?
I don't follow any kind of religion. I feel like we don't know enough to, you know, science can explain so many things, but it's also like, what does that mean then? Like, okay, science explained this thing, but
It just doesn't explain ghosts.
yeah, what the fuck?
I don't.
It doesn't explain why.
Why do people think?
Why did planets happen?
Why did planet? Well, we're not talking
Well,
the Big Bang.
I know, but which apparently maybe didn't happen. They got the theory wrong, or it's a theory now. It's
I
not
wouldn't put it past
even
science that I don't care that we're not
Period.
that we don't know where it came from.
Yeah,
Like I don't. What's the upset? Like we're never gonna know.
Right.
Like that is probably one thing we will not know.
definitively we won't.
I don't
have that one
see
figured
a way
out.
of finding it out because even if we did, it would just be some equation, and someone would be like, "I don't believe that," and then we got the internet now. The internet won't allow that to be real. It just isn't going to take.
Right. Same with like, okay, I do think aliens are real, but not in the way that, you know,
Little green goblin.
no,
little
not
green
like
guys.
the dried up, shriveled gray
Mars attacks.
thing that like they found in Mexico or whatever. I don't think I think it's pretty,
Why did that become the look though?
I don't know.
Me neither. I think the
This
most
is
likely,
turning into like the History Channel aliens guy who just like asks questions and is like, I don't know. What if it's this way? I don't know.
I think.
And nothing is ever answered, and it's the most frustrating thing ever. But anyway.
But like that, people love podcasts for that reason because they're thinking the same thing. They're just like they want to hear someone let them like confirm that we don't really have any answers and we don't know. I think aliens are very possible in this universe, considering how many planets and Goldilocks planets that might exist, just like planet Earth. Are they here? I don't know.
Here,
Could they get here? If they did, they're probably using a very different form of technology that we can't comprehend. But why I think that is possible is if you took your smartphone, especially say the iPhone 15 came out. So say you take the most latest iPhone 15 Pro Max 1 terabyte hard drive, okay, this badass phone, and you go up to a like walrus or a scorpion or a serpent of some kind, like anything, and you were like, what you can do with that phone near them, like how you can just like take a picture of them, put it on the internet, especially if you have a lot of followers and like millions of people can see it. You can
Yeah.
write stories about them. You can
Right.
create worlds about them. You can research every single thing about them, their kingdom, their file, their name, what the Latin word from it, where it came from, when they're first found, the history of it. All the while that little species is just looking at you and has no idea that you're doing that, or
That's
that you
true.
did it, that you went to this other dimension and doing it through the air. Has
You
no idea.
know, that's true. Maybe
So it's
like
like they could be doing it to us, and if it's at that level, why would we know?
that's true. I
You
guess,
know?
but it's like a scorpion can see the person holding the phone.
But their eyes
Whereas,
don't even work like us. They don't know what a phone is. They would just see this object and be nothing to them. Well, go further. Go to a worm. Go to something they can't see. Just lives in the ground.
that's true. You know,
Has no idea about, Kylie Jenner. Has no idea.
they're lost. They're really missing out.
Do you
I
watch
wouldn't
it? Do you have
want to be a
any?
worm.
Do you have any guilty pleasure shows?
Not really, to be honest with you. I only consume good content all the time. No, no, guilty pleasure shows. I watch people build houses in The Sims on YouTube. That's kind of what I do for fun. That's like a guilty pleasure.
What was better than what you just said? It's the face you made.
Yeah.
You made such like a little kid that got caught pouty face, just like
Yeah. Well,
Sims. Interesting. I used to love The Sims.
yeah, dude. Oh my God, The Sims 4, the newest one. You would love how
I think I only know Sims 1.
like oh my God, dude, you are so behind. The Sims 4, the worst part about The Sims was like building the houses in
Yeah.
the original Sims. It was like so annoying. It was just like, who cares? I'm gonna make a giant rectangle, slap a door on it and a million windows.
Oh, I went all out.
And
I
then
loved it.
Well, The Sims 4, the building function is so cool.
Really?
Yeah, I built a funeral home in my town. It needed one, okay?
People do die.
The Sims die, and there's nowhere to celebrate their life.
They really do funerals in the game?
You can't. But
It'd be weird if you
I
did.
designed a funeral home anyway.
Are you into like dead stuff? Like taxidermy?
No, not really.
Fright Fest?
No.
You do like horror films.
I like horror films. I supernatural films, demons, that stuff really scares me. I'm like, because they can just like show up and you can't see them. They can pass through walls. You know,
So that
like
scares you more than like people.
yeah.
So,
because
like, the-
people are tangible. You can run away, you can,
They
put
live,
up a
they live in the
barricade.
metaphysical world.
Yeah. You can't run from that.
So you're not into like all the murder stuff on Netflix, like the Dahmer and all that.
I find it really like morbidly interesting, I guess, but I'm not like obsessively like listening to murder podcasts or whatever.
Serial and all that.
No, it's like very gross. Like
Why? So why are so many ladies into that?
um
And I know I'm just
I think-
generalizing, but let's be real. That's all I've ever heard people talk about.
it's like it's not that far fetched that it could happen to you, I guess.
I mean, at that level, it's pretty rare. Like at the level of like a Bundy, like
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
not that common that people do
But
that.
getting harmed
Getting
by
harmed
a
is pretty
dude
common. Yes.
is not that wild of an idea. And so it
No.
kind of, I mean, I think for some people it's like informative, like these are the warning signs. Like, oh, a person's like screwing around with animals in the backyard. Maybe divorce him. Like
Wow, Rod, you killed another raccoon, buried it, and cut it off with a lawnmower.
Yeah, what the
What's up
hell,
with
man?
that, Rod?
knock that off. I don't like it. Yeah, I think some people it's like informative. It's like, okay, these are warning signs. This is what I can look out for. I think it's like a weird anxiety like control thing. It's like, okay, if I listen to this and learn about it, then I can be more informed and therefore I'm like prepared. Even though you're not, it's like it's like how anxiety so many times in your life is useless. It's like a useless feeling that is just making your life worse. Like you are bracing for something that probably won't happen.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like satiating that anxiety a little bit. It's like, okay, I'm informing this anxiety that I already have and calming it down because I'm like telling it, I'm like preparing it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's making the anxiety worse.
I was just going to say, I feel like it makes it worse because, okay, first of all, statistically, a serial killer coming to get you is very rare, especially nowadays because it's so hard to get away with it.
Totally.
And you
Yeah,
have
different
Track
time.
My Phone, and your mom can keep an eye on you when you go on a
Credit
date. Like all
cards,
these
yeah.
good things. There's cameras everywhere. Like, to not get that person's license plate snagged by a camera somewhere is so hard and rare. You have to be a serial killer in the middle of Oklahoma. Like, it just doesn't, it
Yeah.
wouldn't work well. In a
Probably
major
not
city.
in the U.S. Like you'd have to
Be
be
hard.
somewhere like.
Mexico would work pretty well. Middle of nowhere, Mexico.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, that's like a good, well, middle of nowhere because it's like, you know, jungle and stuff and wilderness, but also like, I mean,
Less tech.
yeah, less tech, less like law enforcement, probably in general, less
Less
hands-on.
money for the law enforcement to even pursue
Right, they're like
an unknown murder. They might just close it. Cold
100%,
case.
yeah,
So I feel like it's giving more anxiety to women.
totally.
And I find it, because I know so many ladies that are just, they love it. They eat it up, they talk on it. Like, I don't know, it's like creeping. Like, quit watching it. Like, it's scary, get nice, but then why are you watching it? It gives you nightmares.
Yeah.
What do men have on, what's the male version of that? We got, what do we watch by women to prepare ourselves for
Probably like Joe
the
Rogan or
psychopaths?
something.
No, it's probably like the Kardashians or like Desperate Housewives.
Do you watch that?
Kardashians?
Yeah, or just, you know, anything like that.
No.
I've heard Real Housewives is good
I don't watch
in
it,
terms
no.
of like trash TV. That's like most people can get on board with Real Housewives because it's, I do like that stuff. I don't watch it, but I do like it because it's so detached from my reality of what I'll ever experience. It's like the things causing them stress are just so unrelatable. I'm like, oh, you're like, you lost a Cartier bracelet or something. Like, that's so sad. What? What?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like, I don't even know what that is.
Get back to earth, right? Yeah, no, not many guilty pleasure TV shows.
Yeah, you don't have free time.
No, not for that. I think the most guilty pleasure thing I have is like Formula One car racing I watch.
You know?
But that's not quite like that.
That might
but
be straight dude equivalent to murder podcast.
You think so?
Formula One, maybe. I know other dudes that are into that.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a trend.
Could be.
You know what you'd probably really like is, first of all, The Sims 4, because the building aspect, you can like really get granular with it and like construct anything, like any kind of structure, really.
Can you choose what kind of concrete you want to use?
Yeah. It's applied like a paint on the outside, but yeah, so you can make it look like concrete or whatever you want. You could build a bunker, you could build a silo, barn. I built a church and a funeral home and a graveyard. And what else? I don't know.
I built a place where you can get married, die, get buried, have baptisms.
I should make a hospital.
You're picking
I should make a
bizarre
hospital.
things. A hospital, a clinic.
Yeah, so like
A
you can
mental
be
health
born,
institution.
you have somewhere to go when you're born and die. It's like a full circle.
And get married and get baptized.
Yes. But I'm playing Starfield.
What's that?
It's like a space RPG. If you ever played Skyrim or something.
I know of Skyrim. I've never played it.
It's like a space version of Skyrim. It's made by the same video game developers.
I haven't played video games
It's pretty
much.
cool. You know, that's why you're so productive. Like, they are such a time suck. It's such an escapist, just like...
That's why I don't do them. I don't have time for them. When I think about it, it makes me feel like I'm not getting something done.
Yeah, you've got to immerse yourself.
I was doing that a little bit yesterday. I was playing this game on Wii called Broforce, and it was hilarious.
What the hell?
It was hysterical. It's a really bad... It looks like a game from like the late 90s.
Okay.
And it's just really funny. It's called Bro Force, and it's a bunch of it's like Rampage meets like I can't explain it. It's goofy where it's 2D and you go across the map, but you can like shoot through anything. And each character that comes back and revives is like a male action star from like the 70s, 80s, or
okay.
90s, and it's hysterical. So you either come back as like Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, but like as a character
Yeah.
in the movies, they're in like
Right.
Rambo, Rocky,
That's cool.
Terminator, Neo from Matrix.
Damn.
It's hysterical. It's very Mr. T. It's very funny.
The guy from Blade.
Yes, actually,
That's so
Wesley
dope.
Snipes, the guy from Blade. Exactly. It's really funny, and it's like on purpose. It's like a
Yeah.
Team America World Police.
For sure.
It's exactly like that. It's like being obnoxious on purpose, and you're like, it's got an eagle at the beginning with the flag waving. It's just like, bro, force. I thought it was funny. But I played for like 30 minutes, and I was like, I'm absolutely done.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Starfield, you're like the captain of a ship and you can pilot around and like go to different planets and do missions and like
That sounds cool.
it's insane.
That's what's great about it and bad about it.
I know.
What's great, I respect and love the technology and the imagination behind it and the effort, the time
Yeah.
that these sound designer and video game designers put into it is remarkable. I'm weary of the back end of it. Like I have a lot of students. We have a game design sequence at ISU that is doing really well. And a lot of the people in it obviously love video games, but I have some students that will be in my sound design classes learning how to do sound so they can apply it to their projects. Some of these kids, it's not good. They'll be like, yeah, I played for like 18 hours straight yesterday. And how do I say this without something, I don't want to sound rude. I can tell that they play video
yeah.
games. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in every way.
Like you didn't change your clothes and like you're dirty and you smell bad and
That on top of the social skills, I'm like,
yeah.
oh, you
a
don't
bummer.
have friends in reality. You might have friends in the game, which is another conversation. And that's fine too, but you should have both. I think it's cool to have
Yeah.
friends via the internet. That's fine. I made so many friends
Yeah.
through the internet. But you should have both. I think both are cool.
Yeah.
So
In-person skills are definitely important and different.
yes,
So different.
18 hours. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like,
Wow.
dude, what? Like all the time, 10 hours, 8 hours. Like I gotta get home, like just to go do it, stay up all night.
That's
So many people do that. And that's the problem is like the games are amazing.
yeah.
And they've made them.
They're better than life.
You're making faces like, what's your longest?
What? Like in one sitting? Probably not that bad, like a couple hours. But my Sims 4 file, okay, that I've been playing since 2017, I haven't even checked the hours on it, but the last time I checked it was like thousands of hours. Thousands. But it was over the course of 5 years. So judge me. Look at how much I still accomplish.
I didn't say
Okay.
anything. I didn't say a word.
I still have a job. I'm clean.
Still a job.
I like go through.
I'm clean.
I go through like bad.
I love how that is like, don't worry, I'm clean.
I'm clean. I make food to eat. My laundry is done. I have a house and I pay rent, and
You love video games.
I do. It's like a huge passion, actually.
I love that they exist. I think they're awesome. If you have a healthy relationship with them,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it. It's like anything else. It's literally like anything
100%.
else. It's like working too much. I have to have a healthy relationship with that, not to do it too much. So I like make sure that I can hop on GTA 5 sometimes
Yeah, dude.
and kill some people. You know?
It's a part of being an American. Hopping on GTA 5 and beating up some people on the street, taking their car.
Oh my God.
That is America.
It is so that game never gets old. Just taking a bottle and just hitting somebody.
Hitting someone. And you know, they probably deserve it in some way.
Should we wrap this up?
I guess. Well,
Karen, I haven't done a 3-hour and 20-minute podcast in a long time.
that flew by.
I can't believe you
Genuinely.
thought it was 50 minutes.
I
Like,
don't know.
It's like 7.
Time that is I am very bad at knowing how much time has passed. Genuinely.
That's probably why you play video games for so long. You're like, yeah, I've been playing for an hour. It's 9 hours
Thousands of
later.
hours. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for
and
having me.
for chatting with me forever, making me laugh. You're hysterical. And for being very polite and honest and enlightening some people. Gave me some insight. It's a very complicated world we live in. And there are no right way or wrong way to do stuff. Sometimes you just have to figure it out. But
Agreed.
people can find your artwork, Moongerm,
Moongerm.
Instagram,
That's about it.
Facebook.
I mean, I'm on Facebook, but that's just to like talk to my
Right.
aunts and stuff.
Right.
Instagram's really the only spot.
That's the artist world.
Yeah.
Instagram. So, okay. Well, if people want to find you other places, you're there too, but Instagram. Got it.
Yep.
And then the band, XYZ. 3 letters. That is on Instagram as well.
Yes.
And Spotify and everywhere.
Yeah,
iTunes,
streaming all over the freaking place.
Awesome. And on DZ Records.
Oh my God. Yes. Thank you, Ben. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Thanks for doing it. It's been 3 years since I approached you with this. I believe it was in October of 2020. So yeah, Karen's responsible for my logo.
Might be time for an update.
You think so?
Should I update it?
Is that what you do? Don't you just keep them forever?
I mean, I think it's beautiful, but
Bending brains. I have 4 fingers. I'm like a Simpsons cartoon.
yep.
And I love it. And then she made the DZ Fest poster again. Thank you for that. And yes, you're a phenomenal artist. I love your work. Keep doing it.
Thank
Keep
you.
making music. Stay strong. Stay positive. And
I'm trying.
You are very tough. I recant my statement. You are tough.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you, everyone. Ciao.